FBI, open up. We have a warrant. FBI, open up. We have a warrant. Kenneth Cordell Griffin, you are under arrest for naked shorting the float. Hands where we can see them. This is not financial advice. Tick-tock, any clocks at zero. Synthetic shares in the casino. Diamond-handed heads lock the back door. Your borrow rate just hit 69,000% more. We have a warrant. We have a warrant. We have a warrant. Wait. We have a warrant. Naked shots in the Lamborghini trunk. That got you on the run. We have a warrant. We have a warrant. We have a warrant. We have a warrant. Battering ram through the Citadel gate, mayonnaise man in his bathrobe shakes. Paper trail longer than the Hudson Bay. Offshore accounts in the Caymans ablaze. You borrow chairs that never existed. Now the flow's locked and you're getting twisted. Tenny's raining on the infinity pool. Your zip tied crime. This is cruel. FBI. Warrant. FBI. Lock him up. FBI, open up. Door goes bam. Cite those servers and the evidence van. SWAT team stacking on the marble floor. Your mayo jars now exhibit 4. You taser deployed. Short squeeze louder than the bass we destroy. Kenny, you can run the algo, but you can't run from the ticks. 1, 2, FBI coming for you. We have a warrant. We have a warrant. Game stop to the moon. Handcuffing in the padded room. Suspect in custody. No bail for billionaires. This is what happens when you FTD the people share. Warrant served. Attendees earned.
I know you're out there, Father. You came back to save me, and I won't let you down! know your kind. You think you can waltz in and just take our planet. Like you forgot one thing. I'm my father's son!
Can't stop, yeah. GME finna run, yeah. Can't stop, yeah. Phone going dumb, yeah. Power up, let my P&L back up. Super Saiyan with this paper, I'ma stack up. Level up, cause you know we taking profits. Had to safeguard my play with stop losses. Had to buy up more time for my options. Had to learn how to try to make progress. Had to hold through the pain in my logic. Had to ignore the fun and stay cautious. Can't stop, yeah. GME finna run, yeah. Can't stop, yeah. Phone going dumb, yeah. Blow up, like my P&L back up. Super Saiyan with this paper, I'ma stack up. Samurai swords aiming for your fronts. Never leave until the shorts close and run. Had to stay home and not waste my funds. Had to learn discipline and be patient. Had to risk all my gains for the bacon. Had to learn when to leave it or take it. Had to pray every night just to make it. Can't stop, yeah. GME finna run, yeah. Can't stop, yeah. FOMO going dumb, yeah.
King Jackie and his men took King Griffin from his bed and filled his ass with mayo. This stock be ours, and by our powers we will take this shit to the moon. Traitors never shall we die. Together hoist the colors high. He holy degenerate traitors never shall we die. Some have died and some are alive, and some others sail on the sea. We're the keys to the cage and to the kitty we pray. We take the fight back to Wall Street. You by the dip accumulate your shares. Heave ho degenerates and traitors never shall we die. To all, pay heed the call. It's time Wall Street burns. Yo, all hands hoist the colors high. Evil degenerate traitors never shall we die. Green's green, let's get it lit. It's your boy Jackie Lay Tips. Swipe over GME, moon in quick. Always jet, ticket tits, never grip. Drives on fire, levels getting hit. Bulls on by, there's big splint. Pull up, lock in, box you'll miss. Jackie live, we printing this. Always jet to the tits. Yeah, let's trade, baby, go! Woo! Always jet, ticket tits, never grip. Drives on fire, levels getting hit. Bulls on by, there's big splint. Pull up, lock in, box you'll miss. Jackie live, we printing this. Always jet to the tits. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? It's great to see you this morning. It's great to see all of you guys here this morning. It's great to see it. It's great. It's great. And in 3, 2, 1, the market is open. Can GameStop's warrants continue their biblical rise to the upside? Find out on today's episode of GME. It's in the game. I'm your host, Jackie Letitz, and it's great to have you all here this morning. It's great to have all of you guys here this morning. So, this morning, what is there to talk about? Well, folks, in 30 minutes time, we are going to have Mr. Warsh, a.k.a. the Fed chair, a.k.a. the big cheese, a.k.a. the one who makes all the decisions, a.k.a. And so in 30 minutes, he's going to have his little speech. That'll probably carry on for 30 to 60 more minutes after that. And then we'll have to see how the market reacts. We'll have to see how the market reacts to Mr. Warsh's speech. So until then, I'm doing nothing. I'm a consumer of price action right now. And I'm just chilling. Who? Me? Oh, I'm chilling. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so where to get started this morning? Well, let's start off with the most obvious here, AMC. I joke. Please don't leave my Discord and call me a fag. Please, I want to be able to make it through the day. So please, and please don't also call me a loser again. It really hurts my feelings a lot. So if you guys could just refrain from doing that, that'd be great. Rabbit PR with the 5 gifted. Bum, 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 5 gifted. Bum, 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 5 gifted memo shit. Look at that. Unbelievable. Thank you, Mr. Rabbit PR. And then we had a couple of people just saying hello. We had Rabbit and Afflicious, and there was Jackie Letitz with 5 gifted memberships. What a fucking grifter. And then it's Ben's wife, or not Ben's wife, it's Poopacabra's wife's birthday. So happy birthday, Miss Poopacabra, or Mrs. Poopacabra, excuse me. What else do we have going on? So, I mean, we could start today's conversation off with the warrants, if you want. We could start the conversation today with AMC, if you want. We could talk about Unity, if you want. We could talk about PayPal, if you want. Could talk about SPY if you want. You know, how about the chat box tells me you guys just spam whatever answers. Okay, you spam whatever stock in the chat box right now, all 300 of you savages. All right, and I'll just pick whatever. In the meantime, I'm gonna quickly take this and just go here, do that. Okay, sweet. All right. So, I actually kind of tricked you all. Because I was going to pick GameStop anyways. You've officially been grifted. Wait. Or do I talk about AMC on the verge of a breakout? Or do I talk about Unity making a new low since our puts? Or wait, do I talk about BBWI making a big recovery and coming all the way back up to the new high since the harmonic completion? I don't know. Where do I? Oh, you just want me? Oh, okay. You definitely want. Okay. So fuck BBWI. So fuck you. Fuck AMC. Fuck Unity. Yeah. Fuck you, Spice. Fuck you too, pal. We're just gonna go right to GME. It's in the game. Listen, for those of you in BBWI or AMC or Unity puts or whatever it is, don't worry. I'm going to get there. Okay, I'm going to get there. Sorry, I just got to tag some people. All right. So, folks, okay. How about this? If AMC breaks 280, I will pause mid GME conversation and I will do the chicken dance. Okay? If AMC breaks 280, I will stop mid GME conversation and do the chicken dance. Okay, so you heard it here first. 280, chicken dance. 280, chicken dance. Okay? But we're going to start with GME here. We're going to start with GME this morning. Okay? Guys, we're still in the 35-day window. Hate it or love it, the window is on top, and he's gonna shine till the 35 days stop. Go ahead, remember me. I'm Raps GME, and I ain't going nowhere, so you can get to know me. Hate it or love it. Right? Like, this is just kind of what it is. All right, so we're in the 35-day window. We've got to continue to be patient. So if we show some patience, right, there's a couple of signs and signals and symptoms that are developing on the chart. However, I know that the chat box loves to have fun on Fridays, and we like to keep it a little less serious. Right? So I'm going to ask the 400 of you currently tuned in, what would you prefer? Common sense analysis and hopium? Or explosive hopium Friday pumpage? Put your answers in the chat box now. Boom, 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 meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. It appears as though you would like both. Well, it was always a trick question because I was always going to give you both. But today, we start off with just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Just fucking hold on. The joke is going to be awesome in a second. The joke is going to be awesome in a second. Just wait. Just wait. Okay, here we go. Da-da-na-na-na-na. Da-da-na-na-na. It's the retarded Avengers. Starring Tinfoil Jackie. Hello, everyone. My name is Tinfoil Jackie. And today, I'm about to tell you something real important. And if you don't watch, you might miss something really important. But if you do watch, there's the chance that you could witness something amazing. Now, you guys know me because you watch the streams for so long. You've been tuned in for so long, right? And one of the things that you guys know that I hate, I loathe, is fractals. Now, the reason that I hate fractals is because back in my early trading days, I attempted to use fractals as a legitimate trading strategy. I'm sure as many of you can probably figure out, it did not work. And because that did not work, and then I saw the power of education and true knowledge, it really changed my perspective about how I felt about stocks and charts and the way that I approached them and trading them, et cetera, et cetera. And today, there is something very unique that is taking place. And normally, I would choose to go out of my way to ignore it, right? Because, 99 out of 100 times, they're fucking dumb and useless and they never work. However, all right, let's give two guys, first of all, a special shout out before I start this conversation, because a lot of what I saw came from those two. And then I'm going to tie everything together with their analysis and with some of the things that I found. And then we're going to put a nice little bow tie package all around this at the very end of it. So I want you all to listen carefully, because I am starting with tin. And I am starting with a bit of, quote, fractal patterns. But I'm going to show you something. And by the time we finish this conversation, you're going to understand what I'm seeing that has me so excited. So first of all, two big shout outs, Sneak and Chuck. Two guys in the Discord that have really been digging into some of the things that have been developing on this. So just a couple of big shout outs to those two guys in particular. Let us begin. I'm going to start with a question. And I'm going to see how many of you know what this is. When I say horns, do you know what that means? Does that phrase, does that word, does that ring any bells for some of you in particular? Now, I want you all to see this. Okay, I want you all to see this because the horns pattern was something that we had come up with here on this very channel because we saw something that was happening on GME where GME kept making these double tops, rejecting and then pushing backwards and then like doing kind of like this weird thing where it would almost repeat the same structure over and over and over and over. And the last time that we saw it, I'll say with confidence, okay, the last time that I saw a true horns pattern that I can say with confidence that actually played out was before the great squeeze of 2024. You guys will remember that we had the double top horns shape up here, the sharp swing, the flat, the sharp swing, the rounding bottom, and then the fuck you. Now, the fuck you in this case obviously went like crackhead levels higher than we had ever anticipated that it would, and that was fucking sweet. But that was the last time that I can say with confidence that we saw the horns pattern. Since then, we could make our own, guesses or attempts at saying, well, maybe this and then this and then this and then this and then this and that. But that's just me trying to force it. The truth of the matter is that I haven't really seen a true horns pattern since over here. Now, the horns pattern, right, is not even necessarily a pattern. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just a structure that we've seen GME do, where after making a double top at resistance, it then flattens out back in an area of support, and then it sticks there for weeks. I'm sure many of you have PTSD in the chat box as I say the 9 weeks of hell. How many of you hide under the covers of your bed or go run to the bathroom at your work because you hear me say 9 weeks of hell? I know that I almost do. In fact, I almost have to take a shit right now. But we're gonna power through it, right? That 9 weeks of hell that we played out here, it was terrible. And I mean terrible. From basically the lows to the highs of that 9 weeks, we only went up 18%, up and down 18%. And that was 9 weeks. Oh my God, it was so fucking bad. And then after that 9 weeks of being tortured, GME just went and disintegrated into Earth's core. That really fucked up a lot of people. It made a lot of people sad. It made a lot of people angry. It made a lot of people disappointed because we were like, oh man, after this 9 weeks, it's got to break out because we have the best earnings ever. And it was. But then it fucking died after the great earnings. And man, I remember how terrible people really felt. Like I remember that they were just really beaten down about it. And, ultimately, it ended up making a significant move, right? The second biggest move in GME's history happened right here. Now, we could call it the horns pattern. We could call it a structure. We could call it whatever we want. But one of the most important things that happened is there was a bullish butterfly that we had drawn right here. That butterfly completed almost perfectly before the stock reacted, turned back, and then... Now, remember this. Okay, if you did not live through this with me and everyone else, okay, I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this very carefully. Remember this. Okay, remember all of this. Now, I'm going to drag you over to present day. Okay? Now, I'm sure as many of you know, I'm sure as many of you know, we just had a butterfly recently complete. Now, what's kind of interesting about this butterfly that completed, we had it marked for the initial butterfly completion, which is a 1.272. When it opened on that initial gap down day, right, this had already then completed. But we said, you know what the problem is this is already pushing. So we should draw this as a deep butterfly now and look for the deep butterfly completion. Well, we got the deep butterfly completion. It doesn't matter. Deep butterfly, regular butterfly, it's a fucking butterfly. And it completed in one candle. Just like this one. Just like this one. In one candle. Just like that one. Now, the major difference that we have between what's happening here and what was happening here is that we have a 35-day window where the people who are converting the bonds into equity, they want the best price possible. They want the best price possible. Right? And because they want the best price possible, well, they can't just have the stock make a moonshot from here. That's not going to help. Right? Because they want cheap prices. So during that 35-day window, the price is highly unlikely to make a significant move. All right? However, there are some things that are happening here and happening here that I'm going to talk about. And by the time I finish this conversation, you might explode. Okay? You might explode. If we take a look at GME, turning off the butterfly because we don't care about that for right now, isn't this quite an interesting moment in time? Right here, hey? Isn't this period of time quite an interesting moment? Now, for many of us, we remember this price action as being absolutely horrendous. And you're not wrong. But now, if we take a date and price range from the first low that was made here, and we just kind of wrap it around price from the high to the low, drag it across this period of time, price action only went up and down 11.75%. Okay? Now I'm going to copy this box right here. Okay? I literally just cloned it. It's the exact same box. You see that? It's the exact same. Okay? I'm going to take this. I'm going to drag it all the way over to, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. We're going to drag it to the 9 weeks of hell. And when I put the beginning of this at the very bottom of that first candle, Now, I'm not saying, but I definitely am saying, y'all realize that those 9 weeks that we just had over here from May to August, y'all realize that that price action in that range was even worse than this one, hey? Not by a little, but by an additional like 8%. And for a stock that we already felt back here didn't do shit, boy, this starts to get interesting. It's also interesting that the days, 74 or 75 days that we had drawn on the other box, almost perfectly aligns with this same price action right here. Well, if that were the case, is there a chance that this could be the base before the second wave down? Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, was there a horn structure at the top that led to a sell-off into this pattern? Yeah, unfortunately, there was. Uh-oh. Now, believe you me, I have sat here and looked at this fucking pile of shit for several weeks now after Sneak and Chuck had kind of brought this up. And I've been looking at this and looking at this and looking at this. And, well, yesterday I noticed something. Something that caught my attention and stopped me dead in my tracks. And I have to share this now. We're going to go to the weekly. We're going to turn the Bollinger Bands on. Just the Bollinger Bands. No other moving averages or anything. Okay? Just the Bollinger Bands. All right. I want you to see this. The same thing that I saw. Okay. Following the 9 weeks of hell and the significant sell-off that we saw before the great squeeze of 2024, the weekly Bollinger Bands on GameStop, the lower Bollinger Band, had been pierced on the wave down. Now, following the piercing of the Bollinger Band on the weekly, on that push down, it was 1, 2, 3 candles that tested that lower side Bollinger Band before the stock on the 4th candle found some support and finally pushed away from it. 1, 2, 3, push. Now, if we turn our attention over to GME right now, there's our 9 weeks. There's our push that pierces the lower Bollinger Band on the weekly. 1, 2, 3, push. Now, here's the problem, right? We're looking at this and thinking, well, Jackie, this thing should go. It should go. If this is the pattern, it should go. It should go. It should go. I don't disagree with you. It definitely should go. However, we have a problem. We are within that 35-day window. And if there was a certain someone that knew about these structures or knew about these cycles or knew about these patterns, right? They would take one look at this and say, well, you know what? I can't push the stock because if I push the stock, it's going to hurt people because the bondholders will probably say, fuck you, Ryan. The other big institutions will get scared off because we fucking pump the stock in the middle of a fucking window and blah. There's too many sort of negative things that would potentially happen if a certain someone showed up on the stock the same way that he did back over here. However, there is a interesting thing that GameStop currently has, right? Where theoretically, if you were unable to push the stock because there was a kind of window, right? I would then turn my attention to perhaps one of the things that was recently created where just buying that alone doesn't inherently make the share price go up. And I'm sure what many of you are thinking of. It's the warrants. Buying warrants doesn't make the share price of GME go up. It's basically the equivalent of buying a $32 call, and that's $14 out of the money, and it expires in 2 months. You'd have to be kind of retarded to buy that. Interestingly enough, however, we saw something yesterday. Now, here's what's caught my attention, right? Because again, normally I would give this zero credibility. But here's the thing, right? Sneak and Chuck had suggested, right, that if we are within that window, well, the premium should start exploding. Now, I'm going to talk about the premium in a second here, but bear with me. If the premium theoretically can't explode because we are inside of that window and you don't want to fuck things up, right? How would you get, quote, premium to explode into the stock? Okay? How would you get premium, folks? Think about this. If you wanted to show a, quote, explosion of premium, how would you do that? Hasta la vista, baby, says the warrants. Guys, if you couldn't or shouldn't buy call options because you don't want to make the price move too much, the simplest answer would be warrants. Buy the warrants, because perhaps GameStop is in the cycle, and perhaps GameStop is going to have a huge move, and perhaps even management knows it. And perhaps because we don't want the price to explode so that we do not impact the price for the bondholders that are swapping to equity, you could then turn your attention to a derivative of the stock, such as the GameStop warrants, and potentially seek a big move. And I don't obviously have to say this, but I'm gonna. Hey, folks. The warrants went up 67% in one day yesterday, and almost 100% from the low to the high. So within the same window that we speculate a large swath of premium could potentially come into the stock, instead of seeing the premium explode, we see the warrants have a 70% day and a 100% run in the span of 9 fucking days. Ba-bum. 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 You can see some of those signs and symptoms beginning to develop, folks. You can see some of those signs and symptoms beginning to develop. And this is an incredibly important moment. Because not only within that same period of time did we just witness the warrants have a random explosion, but GameStop's premium, I can't believe I'm even going to say this, folks. Would you look? Look at your screens. Look on the right-hand side of your screens. I don't believe what I have seen. A day of positive 500,000 premium. I will remember you. August 27th, will you remember me? Boo, boo, boo. Please don't let it go down. One more time. Now, I'm not getting you guys hype on 1 day of positive premium. Now, we have had 2 days of positive premium this week. Hooray! But that's not enough. However, you pair a little bit of positive premium showing up with those warrants having made the move that they did yesterday on a record amount of volume. I mean, you're talking about from the warrants inception, that's the 4th highest volume day that we've seen. There is a chance. There's a chance. There is a butterfly that also completed on GME's warrants that we had been paying attention to, that had reacted, resisted, back-tested, bullishly divergent, and boom, boom. But we are looking for the continuation of this breakout move. We want to see this thing continue to get sicko mode. Now, as you can see from some technical perspective, we are outside of the Bollinger Bands, and it's probably a good thing to come back inside of them and have a little bit of consolidation. That's not a negative thing. Okay, headed into next week. But the similarities between what we are seeing from back then to right now, folks, it is jarring. This to me, this is jarring. The similarities are unbelievable. They are truly unbelievable. And I would never, ever, ever, ever give this a level of credibility had we not traded the horns pattern back over here and watched it work. And we had identified the horns pattern well before this had ever happened. We identified this same structure that happened right here. That was the same thing. Right? We identified, there were so many throughout the course of this. And the fact that this one worked, that was unbelievable. And I just haven't really seen it tangibly or reliably since that squeeze of 2024. And now, all of a sudden, listen, it doesn't matter how many ways you swing it. This right here on GameStop that you guys see on the left-hand side of your screen, there is little to no doubts in my mind that this very same thing has played out several times before on GameStop's chart. I have little to no doubts that this very same structure has played out on GME's charts before. I have little to no doubts. Like, you can't even make the fact up that this thing is firing in an indicator signal right in the 9 weeks of hell at the same time that this structure did in 2022. You can't even make the shit up. And then the craziest part is I show you guys another one. Like, it's honestly, it's unreal. At some point, you've got to ask some questions. At some point, you got to ask some questions. Is the stock repeating a similar structure over and over and over? And has it taken the last 2.5 years to finally show a more reliable or similar structure to what we had seen back in 2024 and 2023 and 2022 and even 2021? That flat base, guys, this right here that we did from May to the beginning of August, I'm telling you, I've seen that so many times. I seen it happen too many times. This right here is the same thing. It is unbelievable the number of times that I have seen this flat base structure ultimately play out. And I got a feeling, I got a feeling that the structures and the similarities that we're seeing, I don't think we should ignore it. And I know that we must continue to be patient with GME, right? Follow along with all the technical analysis and all the other stuff that we do. I mean, that much is common sense. Okay, but like if we look at this now from a technical perspective, right? We have left a gargantuan fucking hole right here. This is not coincidental because we left the same hole. Fuck the horns pattern and all that shit now. I'm talking about straight up analysis, okay? Back when we dumped over here, you left the same hole. From this gap high to this open, this is all a hole. That's all a big gap. And so I said to people back over here, okay, guys, listen, we left an indicator signal on the weekly back up here. We blah, 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 and we left that big hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for it to get to 10 and then show some bullish divergence, and then we can look for a big trade. All right. And the trade, our idea was to come either to the gap fill or to the indicator signal we had. And this was our gap fill. Then we burst through the gap fill on this huge ass candle. And then that took us outside the Bollinger Bands. Once we got outside, consolidate, cat tweet. Back inside the bands before the cat tweet. That all happened sort of in succession. It was just boom, 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 boom. Now, if we take a look at what GME is doing right now, here's the thing that I'm going to turn off the Bollinger Bands for a second. Here's the thing that I want to highlight to you guys. What we have happening here, right? GameStop is at macro support. Again, that already bodes exceptionally well for us. Not only is it at macro support, okay, but the stock has left us a giant hole. Now, what's really interesting about this giant hole that was left is it left several indicator signals on several different time frames that suggest that price is going to come back to that very same high and go back and fill that very same gap. Now, the question is not if it will fill the gap. The question is when will it fill that gap? The same way that the question back over here was, when will it fill that gap? And again, our goal back over here was to identify a potential reversal taking place. A potential reversal taking place, well, I would certainly argue that bullishly divergent lows and a rounding top formation, no matter how small it was, being the number one bullish reversal pattern in the entire market, I would imagine that those are some pretty good signs and symptoms of a potential reversal looking to take place. Now, the reason I haven't showed you the bullish divergence yet is because I don't want to freak you out. I don't want to freak you guys out. But do you want to be freaked out? Do you guys want to be freaked out? Because I could show you something that's gonna scare your tits off. Okay, so Warsh is speaking and the market is like, fuck you. I'll bet you that's bearishly divergent. How much you guys want to bet? Bearishly divergent on 15-minute. Yep. Wah, 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 wah. I'll bet you it's a failure swing on the 30-minute. Wah, 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 wah. Fuck, I'm good at this, eh? Shit. Failure swing on the 30-minute for SPY. Harmonic back test. Bearish harmonic back test. Careful. 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 Be super careful. Okay, you guys do want... Oh, you want Freaky Friday. Oh, you want Freaky Friday? Oh, okay. Okay, Freaky Friday it is. All right, all of you have to look at your screens and type GME right now. Every single one of you has to go to your screens, go to your computers, go to your phones. You have to type GME into the chat box right now. You have to. And if you don't type GME, you have to type Freaky Friday. Because what we're about to show you is leading into bears beware. You're in for a scare. Are you ready, folks? Are you prepared to be fully jacked to the tits? I mentioned bullish divergence on these lows. Okay, I mentioned bullish divergence on these lows. Sorry, I'll make this. So where we had our little rounding top, you guys will see that this candle closed here and this candle closed here. So this was a lower low. And if we look at the RSI, this was a higher low. Now, not quite a failure swing. It was very close, but not quite. But it was bullishly divergent. However, what's interesting, as I'm sure some of you have noticed, is that there was a little awkward-looking inverted head and shoulders. Now, if I zoom out, you can see it a little bit easier. All right, you see what I'm saying? You see how that kind of resembled an inverted head and shoulders, a nice little reversal pattern on the RSI, and then that led to a nice, healthy breakout move that tested the center, right? If we consider that, well, we spoke about the divergence and the rounding formation and right, and the little structure and the hole that was left here and looking for reversal structures. Well, you guys saw the inverted head and shoulders, right? Now, GME has not done that literally one other time during this entire fucking 5-year stretch. It literally has never done it. That was like one of the only times that we had ever seen that happen, making an inverted head and shoulders on the RSI. You want to know what's fucked up, chat? Tell me you see that. Tell me you see that. That, at literally the same moment that we are speculating could be like April of 2024. You're telling me that this fucking thing is making an inverted head and shoulders on the RSI again for legitimately only the second time in the stock's history. And the last time that it did that literally was like right here. I have to admit to you guys, by the way, I have sent in my resignation at Wendy's because the Golden Cross worked and I don't have to go to the dumpster anymore. So let's fucking go, baby. All right. Looking at the RSI on GME, it is building some bullish divergence. Beyond the inverted head and shoulders, it does have a touch of bullish divergence. Now, it's not the, most reliable one because it didn't technically make a lower low. So we would have to see the stock really come back one more time, make one more actual lower low, so closing below 1795. And if we got that to happen, there's a really good chance that this inverted head and shoulders could extend for a bit longer because we're in that 35-day window, and perhaps we would continue to see some positivity and momentum on GameStop's warrants during that period of time. Perhaps we may even see some positive premium continue to show up into the stock. We must be patient. We must be patient. The warrants had a 70% fucking move in one fucking day, when the stock went up 1.5%. And what's even fucking wackier is the GameStop's options. Now, specifically one of the ones that I was watching at the time was GameStop 32Cs for October. These things ripped yesterday, and they've been ripping. Look at this. These things have gone up 80+% in a few days and went up 67% just yesterday. Guy, we literally moved 28 cents yesterday, and GameStop 32 calls went up 70%. Huh? Something isn't adding up. Straight up. Something is not adding up, and the short sellers have to pay that man his money. How does an option that is $14 out of the money, how the fuck does an option $14 out of the money go up 70% on a 28-cent move? I'm telling you guys, something isn't making sense. Straight up, something isn't making sense. And I can't say with definitive proof what that is. But the fact that mysteriously on a random Thursday with absolutely nothing happening, GameStop's warrants run 90% in a week. How is that possible? Something isn't adding up. And I just have to say, Sneak and Chuck, with this idea of repeating that similar structure, how can you not look at this now? How can you not look at this? Watching the warrants at the same fucking time that these guys are like, boy, I sure hope premium shows up today. How can you not look at this and be excited? Something is brewing. Something is brewing. And I don't know what it is, but if we continue to pay very close attention to what is happening here on these warrants, I think we might be blessed. We might actually see these things do something nuts. That once that 35-day window closes, there's a chance that GME could start hauling tits behind it. There are things that are happening, folks, that are perhaps above anybody's control. But I am seeing things that are developing on this chart now that are suggesting September and October could be quite wacky. So we will continue to keep it locked in on premiums. We'll continue to keep monitoring the warrants and the volume that we're seeing. Otherwise, It is still and continues to be a game of patience, folks. But I think we are close to getting the upper hand. I think we're close to getting the upper hand. So as we finish off the GameStop and GameStop warrant conversation, we have AMC retesting the highs of the day at 278, currently 273, still looking to break that golden pocket. We have Wendy's with a beautiful bounce off of the golden cross, folks. Wendy's with a beautiful, beautiful bounce. Beautiful bounce off of that golden cross test. Or I say golden pocket. I meant golden cross. Golden cross. There we go. Whoops. What else do we have? Warrants are back to 230. We have Chewy making a good little bounce earlier today. Once again, I think that's off the 236. Yep. So Chewy with another good bounce. Another potential higher low here, folks. This is like really fucking nice. So Chewy once again finding another higher low bounce within this trending move. This is very bullish because it's setting up a potential macro 3 rising valleys. 1, 2, 3. Potential 3 rising valleys on Chewy. Looking very good. And this is one of the most bullish patterns that you can have following a harmonic completion. So this is looking really, really good on Chewy. I'm very impressed with what we've seen here so far. We also have Unity. So Unity did hit a new low for our puts there. Technically a high, I guess, for the amount of money, but a new low on the stock since we spoke about the Bollinger Bands and coming back inside. So that one is doing fine. I don't really have too much to add there. It was a little bit below, I think, the daily Bollinger Bands. It's probably back inside them now. So let's just take a quick peek. So yeah, it is back above the upper Bollinger Band center line, but kind of whatever. So not really too worried about that. SPY, Kevin Warsh is speaking right now. So there's a shitload of volatility currently taking place. So I'm just chilling, just kind of watching it, not really doing much. What else do we have here? We spoke about Wendy's. FNGR ran into the bottom part of prior support, which it's now turning into resistance. So just be a little careful for those of you that are trading that one or trying to get some momentum. It's kind of running into the box of prior support, which it's now using as resistance. So that's a little bit concerning. Okay. And then I'm going to keep going just up and down my list here. eBay, not really too much to say here. It has, at least so far, made a double bottom. I still personally would like to see it backtest the daily 200 for a new trade setup on eBay, but it does have a potential double bottom. GameStop's warrants are so volatile right now. It's actually crazy. What else do we have going on here? So we also had ServiceNow. So folks, ServiceNow continues to make its breakout move. We are still targeting 159. We had the harmonic completion yesterday. It doesn't mean that it can't stop here, folks, but I would personally anticipate that this probably has a better chance of turning into a crab than it does staying a bat. So I personally think that this could probably carry on all the way up to potentially 170. All right, so I'm very happy with what we have seen on ServiceNow so far, okay? And that is now up since that initial harmonic completion, resistance, backtest, divergence, breakout. That's the new highest high for us, folks, since those bullish supportive lows were traded and tested. So I just got to pop that into the Discord quick. All right, so there we go. That's ServiceNow. So just hit a new high for us of basically 143. So congratulations to those of you that traded ServiceNow. I think that's up over 60% from these lows. Oh, no, sorry, 50% from these lows and 60% off of these initial ones that we were looking at. So nice trade on ServiceNow so far, and we are targeting 159. That is an indicator signal that we are aiming for, 159. That is what we are looking for on ServiceNow. I saw YSS is continuing to fumble, bumble, stumble as it's in that daily RSI wedge. So we're continuing to be patient with that. Nokia still holding above the 236 at $10. So not much to say there. Pinch between the moving averages, just like we spoke about. Pizza, do a pizza. Pizza, it's a pizza. Pizza still looking for the daily RSI wedge breakout. So trying to be as patient as I can. Just sort of buying like a little bit of stock. I'm not really doing much with this one because I don't think I'm going to, make this into some like crazy, exorbitant, huge trade. But I'd like to make a couple $100 on this one. So I've chucked a couple hundred into shares on pizza, and that's where we're at on that one. And then the idea being is that I'll add more and bring this to like a $1,500 position if it does come back here and give us bullishly divergent lows. So that's my plan there on pizza. All right. HubSpot. HubSpot has officially made a new high since that weekly RSI wedge breakout that we spoke about. It is testing the center line. I don't know if we're going to get the complex head and shoulders. We just have to watch and wait for this thing. There's not really much I can say other than we're just going to kind of sit on it. I still like the complex inverted dandruff for a possible next trade. I spelled possible wrong. That's fine. All right. And I tagged. Oh, I didn't tag his alert slips. Okay, there we go. All right. And then let's see here. What else do we have going on? Boo, 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 boo. So AMC holding up well. SPY. Dude, this thing is so volatile right now. GME's warrants equally as volatile. Was there like maybe a wedge or something or anything going on here that we could use? Doesn't look like it. Man, it doesn't really look like it. Okay. All right. So not too much to say there for GME right now. We'd probably draw this trend line. Probably good enough. Okay, let's keep going. There was a couple other things at the bottom of the list I wanted to touch on. Bark is doing well. I don't really have too much to say there. The weekly is right at the weekly center line. We can talk about PayPal in just a second here. What else? There was one other thing near the bottom here. Yeah, BBWI. So I wanted to touch on BBWI here as well. So BBWI, I told you guys I didn't love the reactionary trade, so I didn't take that reactionary trade. Kind of regret it a little bit, because obviously you guys can see following that harmonic reaction, this thing is already driven up 14%. What I'm kind of looking for now is two things. For those of you that are already long, you're looking for it to break these moving averages and then just continue a push on. Okay, so you got low, higher low, higher low. Now let's just push it to the next level. All right. Now, for those of you that didn't enter BBWI like myself, I'm going to look for it to reject these moving averages, push back, and give us a bullishly divergent touch between these two lows that could potentially then, off of this golden pocket, propel us into a nice, healthy move back to the upside. All right. So that's kind of what I'm looking for as far as it pertains to BBWI. All right, that's what I'm looking for. Bath and Body Works. Okie dokie. This thing is so volatile. This thing's crazy. This SLS thing that we were looking at for a bigger spread, this thing is really crazy. Why does my back hurt so much today? Fuck. All right, let's keep it going. So I said I was going to touch on PayPal, so let's go over to PayPal. And then is there anything that you guys think that I'm like ignoring or haven't spoken about that you're interested in that you want me to touch on? Is there anything out there that I may have missed or maybe haven't spoken about that you want me to touch on? Let's see here. So I said we would go to PayPal. So PayPal, just like Wendy's, folks. Look it. So I think the news here with PayPal is that Stripe, I think, pulled their offer. If I remember correctly, I think that was the news that we saw this morning. PayPal. Advent Stripe Consortium reportedly drops pursuit of PayPal. So isn't it interesting that PayPal and Wendy's both had separate events where the people pulled out of buying the stock or making a bid for it. And then both of those stocks mysteriously backtested golden crosses. Isn't that some kind of crazy coincidence? Right before dividend distribution, that's got to be some kind of crazy coincidence. That's pretty crazy, hey? That's pretty crazy. So, yeah, with PayPal, Stripe pulled their offer. But again, I don't really think like this is all that negative. You know, PayPal has just come back tested the golden cross. You know, obviously it's not good that it, you know, gapped down. But the kind of interesting thing is like, look where it gapped down. This is, dude, look at this area. This area has been a gap machine. Right? Look at this area, right? They gapped it down through that area here. Then they paused it here and gapped it again right at that area. Then they gapped it above that area here. And now they've gapped it down to that same area here. Dude, whatever this spot is, I don't know what the significance of this is. But that area, okay, that looks to be the 2023 lows. So whatever the purpose of this area is here, I don't know what's going on, but I think you still got to remain very bullish on PayPal because you're testing a golden cross and it just came back to that same damn area where this thing has just been a gap machine. So I would think that you want to sort of just kind of, you know, let it build some bullishness first. You know, let it build some bullishness first. It's holding outside of the bear zone, which is very good so far, but let's see it develop some signals, you know, some bullish divergence on smaller time frames or something. Let's see that, right? But yeah, that's kind of what we got going on with PayPal. No real fear, you know, kind of the same thing I say about Wendy's. No real fear here is until this trend is broken. And all we've done is backtest golden crosses on either of those stocks. So I don't have anything like too negative to say. We'll take a look at, you guys, would that be the point of control for PayPal? That's a good question. Let's take a look. That's a really good question. You know what? It's pretty damn close. That orange line is the point of control at 59. So that's pretty damn close. And that's the area that we found some resistance at here. So, wow. Good eye. Who said that? Neflicious. Good job, dude. Nice. That's sweet. All right. Take a look. Yeah, I saw a couple of you guys talk about Nike. So Nike is bouncing off of that macro 382 in a weekly RSI wedge, guys. I don't know how anyone can look at this and not think like really positive things. This is a macro area of support. And inside of a weekly RSI wedge, you know, it's very difficult to not look at this and say, damn, that looks like a nice opportunity. And, you know, this isn't one of those things where you're sort of waiting for a sign. Like, this is sort of where you're kind of like in the long-term port. You're sort of willing to stake your claim at these levels and say, you know, I'm willing to risk 10 to 15% lower from here. Otherwise, I expect this thing to go up 40, 50, 60, 70%. You know, that's kind of the expectation with something like this. So I really do like Nike now, not just for the long-term port, but as a potential trade. There is something to be said about these levels here. There's definitely something to be said about this macro 382 at 38.54. There's definitely something to be said about this. So, and I heard a rumor, I think the wife was telling me yesterday, that Nike is going back to their factories in Vietnam, I think was the understanding. So it sounds like the quality of Nike sneakers might go way back up again. So that would be sweet. And then I saw some of you guys talking about Netflix. So we'll take a peek at Netflix as well. So Netflix, ever since you guys called this out at the weekly 200 period moving average and this little area of support, this thing has been excellent. You're testing the macro 236 at about, let's just call it 81.50. If you get a close above that, things start to look super, super deadly. If it stays below it, kind of lukewarm on it. But as far as this thing is concerned, you are back testing these very important areas of resistance. And if you can manage to get through that, you should be able to see this make not just a move to 85, but I would like to see this retest triple digits. You know, you got a gap fill there, you got a golden pocket there. I like the idea of triple digits if it can defeat 81.50. So think of it like a final boss battle. All right. So that's what I would say on that one. Alrighty, on Netflix. I saw in the Discord there asking about Funko or talking about Funko. So Funko continues its upward assault. I just, if this thing fucking hits 12, I'm gonna be just juiced to the fucking tits, bro. That would be so fucking cracked. God, that's amazing. Good times. Those were good times. And then we had, I think there was a super chat that I may have missed from earlier in the show. Thorokin with the 2, good to see you, buddy. And Ben with the 26 months, look at that. And Fly High with the $10 bomb says, GME, GME, GME. So look at that. Great to see all of you guys here in the chat box. And then I do see Gabor. I see you, buddy. I'll get you in the Discord in just a little bit. I do see you. I see Wendy's making a new high of the day at 819. Man, Funko, that's so fucking nuts that it got to the golden pocket. That's crazy. Let's go over. Not really too, man, Wendy's is crushing it. GameStop's warrants. Let's check in on the premium for GME. Oh, okay. What's this? What do we have here? What, pray tell, for art thou is this? Huh? Okay, this is a sold put. These are sold puts, and that's a big trade. Holy shit. December 18th, $19 puts being sold for 400 grand. 400 grand. Oh, everybody better write that down. Every single one of you that trades GME, you guys better write that fucking thing down. 19p for the December monthly. And that was sold. It's a sold put. Whoa. Oh, look, it might be somebody covering a put that they purchased. This is getting real interesting now because there is chunks of premium that are showing up. Now, obviously, you guys can see the call side premium is fucking horrendous. But boy, oh boy. Okay. Hey, there's something. GameStop warrants continuing to battle it out. AMC continuing to battle it out. GameStop, look at those Bollinger Bands. Holy moly. Look at those Bollinger Bands on GME. That's crazy. And then SPY retesting highs of the day. Look at that thing. Watch out for a potential second touch of bearish divergence, excuse me. So I assume Warsh is still speaking. I just don't really give a shit. So we will win. Joined on Friday, and it's been amazing. Check ICOC/Coca. Cocoa. Cocoa. ICOC. ICOC. Go here. That is what you said, right? Yeah. Or it's not else. No, it can't be. What's this? Wisdom. Aha. Aha. It is an L, not an I. Aha. Yeah, I would long the fuck out of this because the super El Nino is going to make crops and stuff just absolutely terrible for next year. So I would imagine that the price of this is probably going to skyrocket. I was thinking the same thing with wheat. I was looking at wheat the other day, wheat futures. So with the cocoa one, it looks like you've got a golden cross. You've broken the 382, and now you're retesting the prior high of the summer. So you're certainly making some great progress. If that continues to break out, I would then be targeting $36 next. That would be my next targeted zone. Warsh is done. Oh, he finished a few minutes ago. Okay, so this is just kind of the market reacting residually afterwards. Okay, cool. This might turn into a crab now. There's a decent chance this might turn into a crab. If SPY keeps doing that, there's a decent chance this might turn to a crab. There's actually a really decent chance that might turn into a crab. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm not trading anything on this yet. I'm not making a call on this yet. I'm just let it go. Let it go. I did just finish talking about PayPal. I did just have a conversation about PayPal testing its golden cross. The same way that Wendy's is making a new high of the day after itself testing a golden cross. Woo! Shout out technical analysis. Shout out technical analysis for keeping us calm, cool, collected, and stable. And then let's check in on Chewy. Let's see if there's any Chewy order flow coming in whatsoever. There never is. Chewy just sucks for order flow. Checking in on the dark pool for let's go GME first, and then I'll take a look at Chewy. GME has absolutely nothing. Chewy. Oh, 2.63 million. An hour before the market opened. Whoa, Chewy's actually had some. Whoa. Why is the dark pool so active on Chewy? The heck? The dark pool on Chewy is actually really, really active. That's interesting. I wonder why it's so active. Derivative priced. Transaction that constituted the trade through was execution of an order hit at a price that was not based directly or indirectly on the quoted price of the NNS at the time of which materials. So, wait, does this imply that somebody was exercising calls? When was this? That was 2 days ago. Huh? What the fuck am I looking at? Yo, that derivatives price day is the day that we push back like 7%. What the fuck? And then all those came in after hours when we basically bottomed. What the fuck? What is that about? Oh boy, that's really interesting. And here's another one yesterday at the same time. What the fuck? What is going on here? Okay, I gotta go back. When did the cap buy again? That was June 2024, right? That was like June 27th is when that filing came out. So why don't we look at the days leading into the 27th? Let's see what I can see here. Okay. Some activity, yeah. Especially the day before. Derivatives price. Oh, fuck off. If I see another batch of those derivatives trades, or like these 4,000s that I'm seeing on Chewy, dude, this is fucked. What is going on here? Look at these dark orders. Holy fuck, that's all one day. Wow. That's all one day. Oh my God. Holy shit. That's all one day. Holy shit. Wow, the 25th and the 24th, that dude was buying. Holy shit. Okay. Am I tripping? This is also like not insignificant. I'd like to see it a little bit more consistent, but whoa. Wow, this is really interesting. Okay, let's check in on the whale feed for Chewy. All right, not much to report there. Check GME quick. Not much to report there either, so checking in on GameStop's warrants. Good bounce off of the low. Still looking to bounce off of that trend line. I unfortunately don't have like any RSI wedges or anything that jumps out at me. Nothing immediately that jumps out at me. Maybe. I wouldn't, but whatever. Control that, sure. Sure, okay. All right, so maybe if the 5-minute can get some positivity and break through that, that'd be good. APP, what were we looking at APP for again? What was the deal with this? I remember we looked at the, it had a harmonic that we were waiting for, but didn't quite complete. Was close. Close. But not quite. Not quite. All right. What else do we have going on here? Okay. Wendy's. Wow. And ServiceNow. Holy shit. Yo, ServiceNow is crushing it. Oh, that's not what I wanted. What did I just press? Uh-oh. I don't know what I just pressed. There we go. Fuck, that was fucking gay. Okay, I hate pressing that button. Fuck you, F11. Fuck you. Fuck you, F11 key. Eat shit, bum. All right. So, is the Discord currently 420? Well, if you're on X and you go to some of my most recent posts, you might be able to find some information that could perhaps save you a couple of dollars. So if you're on X, I would certainly hop over there and just check my X account. You might find something interesting there. No, I never bought calls on GME. No, I bought warrants. Warrants in stock. Let's see here. So, I was just going through some of your guys' comments. I didn't see anything that like jumped out at me. So, we've got Chewy. What a beautiful bounce for Chewy so far off of that higher low. So, what a beautiful, beautiful bounce so far for Chewy on the higher low. So far, Chewy looking very, very, very good. Pretty happy with that thing so far, and hopefully we can continue to carry on. Carry on. All right, an AMC retesting that golden pocket again. Man, it's having a fucking hell of a time trying to get through that son of a bitch. It's having a heck of a time getting through that. And then, what else? YSS is doing good. Pizza's doing better. Pizza's doing a little bit better. Checking out on some members stuff. FNGR, 186% casually. Not too much else going on from there. Purple list. Not much to say there. I think one of you guys talked about Docs yesterday. And I think we mentioned how Docs looks, it looked pretty good there. So looking for some support. But yeah, I think one of you guys brought this up yesterday. I can't remember though. Crypto, Bitcoin, still just hesitating at these prior highs. I'm nervous. I don't like the multiple touches of bearish divergence in overbought zone. That makes me very, very, very nervous. Really nervous, in fact. Let's go to the members trades list. Fresh this out here. So BBWI doing good. Everything else is just kind of blah. We're just kind of blah here so far. Alrighty. Sweet. And let's check in on SPY select sectors. Big one today, consumer discretionary. So I assume Tesla and consumer discretionary and communication. So I assume the Mag 7 is up piles. Yeah, so Tesla is not, and Nvidia is not, but every other Mag 7 or tech stock seems to be up piles. Apple up 2, Google up 2, Microsoft 2, Amazon 3, Meta 3. So SkyDaddy's MetaTrade sure worked out pretty well so far. Nice job on that one there, SkyDaddy. Baba, I want to buy this thing so bad. I want to buy this thing so fucking bad. And then one of you guys was saying maybe more sold GME puts. So let's take a look. Let's go over to the live options. Head over to GME. And yes. No. Nope. Not yet. Nope. Those are still the same batch. Those are the same batch. Yeah. Okay. So warrants. Looking for a buyer to step in. Looking for a buyer to step in. So while I have a moment, let me just play a tune here really quickly while I go warm up my coffee. And then I'm going to get a couple of you guys into the Discord there that signed up. And then, I'm going to open the floor to, you don't have to send in any super chats. We'll just take a look at some of the stocks that you guys want to look at. All right, so we'll do that once I come back from a quick tune here. I just want to heat up my coffee. So it's very cold. So let's get a tune in here. I just like this tune. This is so good.
Can't wait to quit my 9 to 5.
Doc Studios.
Wake from your sleep and dry off your tears today. We escape.
are the moments that you will look back on, and in 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, you're going to look back and say, damn, why didn't I buy more down here? And I say all this, right, because my confidence in what we are seeing transpire with GameStop is beyond anything that I have ever had with any company and any stock at any given time. This company, this stock, the people behind the scenes are putting in the work, and the shareholders that are sticking around and sticking through it, even when things get emotional and even when things get tough, those are the people that are going to be rewarded heavily, because this is the bloody part of our story. We thought getting beat down for 3 years was tough. No, getting beat down for 2 years after you thought the company was on the verge of seeing something spectacular, you get some eBay news that it looks like the thing's gonna skyrocket in after hours. No, that's the blood.
You see it coming before it's running. Catch the bottom, you don't have to be shy. Then it's turning, started burning. Ride it up to a new all-time high. Look at Jimmy, it's such a pity. He's gearing up, he's bound to fly. We got the titty and the kitty. Yeah, you know he never really said bye.
Let's all be honest, right? Let's all be honest. I'm the loudest. I'm the biggest asshole. I talk the most shit. And I come at fucking everybody. The reason that we ever created Jackie was because I got tired of the bullshit. Right? That was the whole reason that we started this. It's because of all the bullshit that's been going on. Not just in 2025 or 2024 or even 2023. No, we're going all the way back to 2022 and 2021. We have people outside of the community, inside of the community, and then somewhere sprinkled right in the middle of all of those, giving their own personal opinion and personal conjecture and blah, 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 blah. I don't give a fuck. Stop trying to fade me on GME. You're gonna get clapped. Not only that, but stop trying to crush the fun that we're having. Because now all of the fun and all of the excitement that we had over the last couple of weeks, gone. Because Ryan's a bad man. Ryan's a really bad man. And he's diluting on us. And now it's not, I didn't even remember any of the fun that we just had. I forgot about it already. Because the GME only goes down. Fuck. Fuck. About the good times. Alrighty, everybody. It's great to see all of the names and all of the faces here within the chat box today. Moto Guru, I've got you in the Discord, buddy. I seen that you already sent me a friend request. You're already 10 steps ahead. And oh, look at there's Soy. Soy, good to see you, buddy. It's my boy Soy. What's up, my boy Soy? What's up, my boy? My boy Soy. What's up, my boy? So I don't know why I was doing that. I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm going to start with Nisha. Nisha, I'm going to start with this comment here. And then all of you guys that have stocks that you want me to look at or trades that you're interested in, what I would like you to do is post your idea in the chat, in the chat box here, and then just give me a small description, okay, about why you're interested in it. So maybe, maybe you're going to tell me, okay, Jackie, look at AMC because of a 30-minute RSI wedge, or Jackie, look at BABA because it's got a 2-day RSI wedge, or it's got a MACD cross right near center, or blah, 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 blah. Just give me a small description so I can kind of I'm not opening this chart blind. I have an idea of why you're interested in it. Okay? So I'm going to start with this one here. Would you say there's bullish divergence visible on the GoPro 2-day chart starting in late June? In June. Well, if it's on the 2-day, I would probably say no, because that's going to be too far apart. Right? So what I mean by too far apart is that it's the RSI look back when you look at the settings, right? It looks back 14 days. So if we just take like a rough measurement, let's say from these June lows here to here, it's way outside of that 14 period kind of idea, right? Looking at GoPro, I would probably drop to the daily and I would say, could there be a touch of divergence between these two lows? Now, when I was first starting out trading, I marked these as divergence. It doesn't mean it's not. It's just that it's way less reliable than touches that happen within that 14 period window, right? This is 34 bars, right? So it's kind of like way outside that 14 period window. So when I look at something like this, I would not say that this is divergent. What I would say is that for right now, the only thing that this really has going for it, besides the fact that it has recently run into a fib time zone, is that you're kind of at like this, last little beacon of support. Any lower than this green box of support, and then you're talking about retesting, the all-time lows back over here. And then suddenly it really doesn't look good at all. And right now, from macro perspectives, there's nothing that jumps out at me that says, oh, wow, this thing is preparing for a reversal. I would say that I see what you're talking about with regards to the divergence. I would just say that when you're looking at making divergent touches, look and think closer, right? So a good example of closer is the GameStop warrants on the daily. Right, so you guys will remember how all of these touches of divergence, look at how close each one of these lower lows was. Right? Look at how close each one of these was. Right? They were all pretty damn close to one another, and more specifically, right, mark from here to here, that's 13, so that's within the window. Here to here, that's 8, that's within the window. Here to here, that's 11, that's within the window. Here to here, 7, that's within the window, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bada bing, bada boom, right? So you want those touches of divergence. If you want them to be more reliable, you want them to be quicker. You want them to be like side by side, right? So that's what I would say there on the old RSI. All right. What did I have underneath that? FNGR is trying to make a run. I did have that on there for you guys earlier. It's running into a big macro resistance. So I have some concerns about it continuing on. You've got your macro box of resistance right here, which once was support that you're running into. And then you've also got the macro 382 that you're kind of running into as resistance as well. So we've got a couple points of resistance on the chart that should just be a little cautious of that. All right. What's up, Soy? There you are, my boy. What's going on? What else we got here? UNH double bottom retest breakout of UNH plus RSI wedge. UNH. Man, that RSI wedge is crack smoke. That thing is sweet. I would even connect it like this on the daily. I would totally do this, and I would feel comfortable doing that. Fuck. Oh, this looks good, actually. Yeah, you're kind of right. My only, I'll say my only slight hesitation would be finding resistance up here and then pushing back, and then maybe it makes a bullishly divergent touch like this, you know, back at this area of support here. However, that being said, you already kind of have like this, like that really is your high or low. So at that stage, you kind of just want to see a breakout. What's the healthcare sector doing? It's only red one on the day, but it's also been amazing recently. So that actually, it really does look good. That RSI wedge is super clean. I just feel like it would probably be better to look for a touch of bullish divergence, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't build a position within this range. But I do certainly think that that RSI wedge is very clean. I just got to keep writing these things down. Wedge. All right. What else did we have going on here in the chat box? So under Gabagoo, we had no time for gaming. BSX 2-hour RSI wedge. And maybe a bump and run. BSX. The bump and run might be a little bit tougher. I totally see what you're saying. It's just, goddamn, that's a fucking long way to go. So you can mark the bump and run. I would just totally ignore it for a while. So you could mark this off, but I would just ignore it for a while. I would say once it starts like really doing like this, then it's like, okay, now we've got the indicator signal. We've got the, so that's when I would start giving it some more attention. But drawing it, yeah, definitely. I would totally say that you've got something there. Weekly RSI just broke out of an RSI wedge. Weekly is having a death cross. You said 2-hour RSI wedge. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and it's actually like a wedge. So that's pretty sweet. I like that. Did it leave any indicator signals by chance? If it did, I'd really like this to turn. Yeah, my fucking vision is going to absolute dog shit and fucking spending every fucking day looking at this stupid ass computer. I don't see any indicator signals, unfortunately, on this one. I guess the 2-hour RSI wedge and then your macro 236 here at, what is this price? 44. So that's probably, I would argue, that's your like risk. And then your reward is that it finds some support within this range and then kicks up. And then it really does start to give you the idea of the bump and run. So that's what I would say on this one, sir. What else do I have here? SVM. Whoa, there's one I haven't looked at in a while. On the 2-day, wouldn't you look back 28 days? Why, though? Because the 2-day RSI isn't calculating any different. It's still looking back 14 days. It doesn't matter what time frame I'm on. I could look at the 5-minute. It's still only looking back 14 candles. I could look at the monthly. It's still only looking back 14 candles. The RSI is always looking back 14 candles. That's what it cares about the most, right? Not the moving average, but the RSI itself. Its calculation is only looking back 14 days. So it doesn't care about price action from 28 days ago or 40 days ago or 60 days ago. If it's trying to show you weakness or strength, it's trying to show you it in real time, right? So if it's trying to show you that in real time like it did with the warrants, right? It's going to show you those touches in, what's the word I'm looking for? In succession, right? You're going to see those just boom, 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 boom. And it's all going to kind of be in a row. That's why do you guys think failure swings work so well? Why do you guys think failure swings work so well? It's because the touch of divergence happens in a very short window. Ooh. Ah. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a hand there, Mr. SD Birder. Good to see you, buddy. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of hand there on that question. The RSI is always looking back 14 candles, no matter what time frame it is that you're on. So that's where that reliability thing comes into. That's a whole other conversation that we'll save that one for the Discord. But that's where the reliability conversation comes in. because there's a big thing to be said about the data that each of these candles displays, right? I see pizza. Pizza is doing well. I'm continuing on with the chat box and the ones that you have in here. I see SNDK, gap below and gap above. I'm trying to flip between SNDU and SNDQ. So you're doing the leveraged ETFs on SNDK. So I like that. That's a good idea. That's cool. And then let's see. You say gap above. Yeah, I see that one. And you say gap below. Okay, I see that one as well. Okay, I see both gaps. So you're wondering, what are we going to do? What are we going to do here? Well, first and foremost, the RSI is above center, and it is above the EMA, so that generally bodes well for some positivity. As far as the stock is concerned, we could pull a quick fib from high to low, drag it across, and say, where are we? Right? Where are we? Well, we're a little bit below resistance, and we're below the daily 50, so I probably would be more bearish on this than I would be bullish, simply because you are below those technical artifacts. That being said, bull market, bull market, bull market, stocks only up, bull market, stocks only up, right? We already know that. But I'm just not crazy enthusiastic about tech and tech stocks right now. I'm really not thoroughly convinced that everything is as rosy as it appears. So me personally, I'm not trying to force any trades. Now, I know you said you're just flipping between the two leveraged ETFs, so you kind of have your own like theories and ideas of how to make money on this thing. So I'll just say this. Below the daily 50, it tends to lean a little more bearish. Having said that, there's a gap to fill that you've obviously already marked off that's right at that daily 50. It would almost seem illogical not to fill the gap and test the daily 50 from below to either confirm the bearishness or break through it and then just go up. So in real time, you're actually hearing me change my opinion about what I think about this. Long term, I lean a little bit more bearish, but I think in the immediate short term, it would seem a lot more logical to push this towards this gap fill, and then this is kind of like your risk, right? Because if it goes lower, then I would rather try and buy the 382 or buy the 236, right? Like somewhere where it could prove some support. What we could also do is it's spent basically 4.5 days at this level. So what we could do is drop time frame. So if we're using the daily, we want to turn on our sniper scope, right? So we're going to put on the 30-minute time frame. And we're going to ask, do we have any signs, signals, or symptoms that we could potentially see a reversal take place at these lows? So if we kind of look into our technicals, well, the RSI is currently above center, which bodes really, 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 really well for us. And if we want to see this continue, well, it looks like these prior highs here at, what is this, 1530? 1530 on SNDK, it looks like those are some pretty big areas of resistance. So if we want to see this continue, we already like what we see on the 30-minute. Why don't we drop a little bit further into the 5-minute? And we'll say, okay, on the 5-minute, we're kind of in the exact same position. But I also see this on the 5-minute RSI. This is clear as day. That is about as clear as it gets. There's a clear trend line here. I would not want to see the 5 minutes slip below that trend line, because then that would tell me that the 30-minute is probably done and that run that we've seen thus far is probably muted. However, if I see this continue to carry on, why wouldn't I anticipate SNDK testing that 50, filling the gap, and coming up from below? That would seem logical. So maybe the key now is to focus on SNDK on the 5-minute with this little trend line that we've kind of drawn here, and saying, okay, we want to see it hold above that trend line. And that trend line, mysteriously, also aligns with the center line of the RSI as well. So now you can really focus on the center line of that RSI and that trend line and say, well, that's a pretty big pivot point. Right? Because on the 5-minute time frame, a slip below the center line and a slip below that trend line is very obviously going to lead to this thing breaking down and probably retesting these lows once again. Right? So that's how you kind of use that all in, use that in confluence with some of the things that you may see on a more macro time frame, right? We were just looking at the daily, the 30-minute, and then the 5-minute, right? The 5-minute to help us come up with a conclusion about the daily. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's see what else we got. VOD, right? VOD has monthly inverted head and shoulders following the confirmation of the macro golden pocket and the 0.5 based on all-time lows to all-time highs. VOD. Vodafone. So he said all-time lows to all-time highs. So this is the most macro Fibonacci. And then we'll pull another one from all-time high to 52-week low, or lowest low, whatever, doesn't matter. Make that a little bit less bold. So a couple things I immediately see. Weekly golden cross, tested it, bounced off of it. That's bullish. That's like super bullish. Head over to the daily, golden cross, stayed above it basically the entire fucking time. That's really, 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 really bullish. If you look at some of the things that are happening from a Fibonacci perspective, I like your golden pocket and 0.5 thing that you pointed out. I also really like that if you pull the fib from the all-time high to this recent low, you've just recently broken and opened and closed above the 236, while also printing a monthly bullish engulfing. It almost feels like free money that this thing is going to go from here to here. Like it legitimately almost feels like it's free money. And then if that were to transpire, just as you have pointed out, there very well could be a massive, massive, massive fucking inverted head and shoulders that could play out on this thing. And you will run into macro resistance. So probably not a bad place to consider locking some in at that stage. But regardless, yeah, I definitely... I pick up what you're throwing down here. It's quite an interesting idea. I guess the only thing that would give me a slight pause for concern, Chuck, is the next monthly candle that's going to close in 3 days. There's a chance that it could close at a higher high, and there's a chance that this could be a massive, massive, massive monthly failure swing. All right, so just be aware of that. I don't want you to be bearish ahead of time, but just it's something that you can say, okay, I see it on the chart. Jackie's not telling me that it's going to go down. He's just saying, hey, watch this. All right. What else did we have on here? I got 1,000 shares of Hertz on Jackie's trading from the 1 hour crossing the 50 RSI. What was that? That's on Hertz? Very good. Look at you, hey? Look at that. Nice job, buddy boy. So a little RSI wedge action on the hourly there. It broke out. You've got a nice, healthy move that is now broken the center after breaking that RSI wedge. And then I'm willing to bet that if we look at the MACD, I'll bet you the MACD crossed below center. OMG. So nice training, buddy. Look at that. A mechanical trading system. Isn't it nice? Isn't a mechanical trading system nice? Wow, very well done. Good job. We're going to have to keep track. That's very well done. Very good. That's really good. That's actually really good. I love that you guys are testing some of that stuff. That's really cool to see. Northern Gorilla, if you check on my X account, for some of the most recent retweets, you may find a certain deal in there somewhere. You're welcome, Chuck. Did you play the Warrant song yet? I played it first thing to open the stream this morning, you scammer. You goddamn scammer. What else? I see Chewy is making a new high of the day, 23.64, up 3.6%. So that's nice. And then Wendy's, 4.5%. Service Now, 4.75%. Pizza, 2%. Pizza, do a pizza. All right, let's keep carrying on. Let's keep the theme going. Let's get everybody's let's keep the energy and the vibes high. Next one on the list. Kenny's intern. Did I do one for you already? No, I did not. Let's take a look. AMSC, weekly RSI wedge, sitting at previous support. Maybe waiting for a backtest of the 200-period moving average, but has been up only since February of 2022, and the fundamentals look great. AMSC. What is this? American Superconductor Corporation. So you were saying, what was it? Weekly RSI wedge? Weekly RSI wedge. All right, let's take a peek. We are looking at the same stock, right? AMSC. Did you mean monthly? 2-day? Daily? I could almost see a daily. The weekly one, though, I'd probably push back on. I would probably push back on you on the weekly one. The daily one is kind of interesting because there definitely is a structure. There's definitely, that's a pretty nice channel. You know, if I take out parallel channel, this actually is almost like perfect. Like it's actually pretty good. So I think on the daily you could have something. It's the weekly one I think I would probably push back on a little bit. I think I would push on that one. But this is cool. Yeah, no, this is cool. The daily one is interesting. Chewy. Hey, watch out for Chewy. Chewy's and games. Whoa. Hey. Did you guys see that? Whoa. And Bananito, sorry, Kenny Sinter, I'm going to come back to you in just a second. Bananito, oh, baby. Folks, oh, shit. 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 Shit. Holy shit. Fuck shit. Shit. Holy shit. Oh, fuck me. Oh, baby. Humana. Y'all are seeing this, right? You guys are seeing this, right? Humana. What is, folks, that's 750K. That's 750K in sold puts for December. Look at that. And then whoa, that's over $1 million. Whoa. Must go GME. Must go Darkpool. Oh my gosh. So they sold 19 and then they sold $20 puts for December 18. What the fuck? What the fuck? I can't stop looking at it. The wife is awake and she gets to witness it. Wife?
What are we looking at?
For positive premium, what must calls do? That's the green line.
Go up past 0 lots.
Okay, so if the green ones must go above 0 for it to be positive, what do the red ones got to do if it's got to be positive too?
Down the burning ring of fire.
I went down to the burning ring of fire, and I sold a shitload of puts, and I put in over $1 million. And I don't know what the fuck is about to happen, but something's happening.
We're halfway there. They're escaping.
Now, hold up.
But.
Let's say, right, because I remember I had this conversation with you last night, but I didn't do it for them. But now that you're here, I'll do like a quick version of it so then you can sit down. Remember how I said that if you were the cat or someone like him and you couldn't make price go up because we were within that 35-day window, right? And you didn't want to fuck everything up for everybody, right? Well, if you couldn't buy calls, what would you do? Well, yesterday I told you that we would talk about buying warrants, right?
Yeah.
And then warrants have a fucking 70% swing, right?
Yeah.
And then we also spoke about how we were kind of in that like moment in time where it could be similar to April and how we wanted to see premium explode, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if you couldn't buy calls, right? If you couldn't buy calls because you didn't want to push the price up, what would you theoretically do, right? If the warrants, right, you already made that play, so now you're waiting for them to maybe like consolidate and relax a little bit, right? Because it had 70% move in one day, right? So maybe you're looking for it to consolidate. What could you do that theoretically would put you in a position where you would not have too much of an impact on the stock in terms of its share price going up, but you would be able to signal that there is a premium, a large amount of premium that is becoming exceptionally interested in the stock? You would then, instead of buy calls, sell the puts. And I'm not saying, but we're over $1.1 million right now in sold puts. If whoever this cat is right here, now I said cat, maybe I didn't.
Careful.
Whoever this guy is, if this guy keeps doing this for the rest of the day, like we could see a total of like, what, 5 mil? If he just keeps going. Then all of a sudden we're looking at this, and we just had this big conversation this morning. If we were in that April window and we were like, okay, we need to see premium, this is where we should see premium. On the same week that we ask for that, the warrants go up 70%, and then all of a sudden the premium explodes. Like for the first time in 90 days in an actual positive direction that isn't 0 day to end puts or calls being sold.
There will be signs.
This is very exciting. Where are you going? Thank you. Boy, oh boy, folks. Is this a glimmer of hope? Is this what we have been waiting for? Find out on the next episode of Bears Beware, you're in for a scare.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the world's finest. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Hacky. You thought I was Jackie until I had you. You thought I was Jackie. My name is Hacky. No, I can't let you take the stuff from me. Please, Hacky. No, you can't take it from me. Hacky, please stop it. You can't take it from me. Hacky, don't take it from me. Why does it have to be this way? Internal dialogues are going afray. We're both going insane. I'm fried in the brain, but you can send me away. You thought I was Jackie until I hacked you. You thought I was Jackie. My name is Hacky. No, I can't let you take the stuff from me. Please, Hacky. No, you can't take it from me. Hacky, please stop it. You can't take it from me. Hacky, don't take
Hello, chat box. And how do you find yourselves doing this morning? It's great to see all of you in the chat box once again. I am your secondary host, Hacky. And normally I come here to say things of negativity and horrible things. But today, there is nothing horrible remaining. The winds, we can feel them shifting. The tides, we can feel them turning. And within the ocean is plenty of motion. And Suka bliet, comrades. It is great to see you, comrades. It has been far too long. In fact, I think it was been 24 hours since I last saw you. My goodness gracious, much too long, much too long. We have to do this significantly more often. Listen here, Focarinos. Listen here, Focarinos. GME is preparing the rocket thrusters. The potential for this stock continues to grow by the minute. Do not be afraid now, Chet. For we will continue to hopefully see the premium. Hopefully continue to see someone sell puts. But the amount that we are seeing come into the $20 puts cannot be understated. This is $750,000. Do you know how many lifetimes at the factory I would have to work to try and make the $750,000 that this trader currently casually just put into sold puts? What a cycle! You would have to be crazy Russian to want to hit flash. Well, yeah! Rootin' tootin' cowboys, how the heck are you doing? It's great to see y'all in the chat box. I'm your third host, Uncle Buck and Chuck. It's great to see y'all. It's great to see y'all. And listen here, y'all little whippersnappers. We got a snicker of a doodle taking place right now. Let me tell y'all some GameStop warrants are hitting a new oh my goodness, oh my gracious. Can we continue this energy? The vibes are electric. The vibes are electric up in this crazy sumbitch. And I'm about to tell y'all something right here, right now. I'm just looking for these here warrants to break through that golden pocket. And oh my goodness, we could see quite the bullish break out there on the old GME warrants. We are now looking for that break of 260, folks. And then, last but certainly not least, we got that big psychological level there at about $3 buccarinos. So strap in and put those helmets on tight. Make sure you got the straps thoroughly locked in. And I cannot wait to fly air to hit up. Hello, Jackie here. Jackie? Holy shit, Ken! Is that you? What's up, buddy? Yeah, yes, hello, Jackie. It's great to see you as always. I sent some of my goons over earlier this week to infiltrate your Discord and call you a loser. Why did you do that, Ken? Is it because the warrants started blowing up in your face? No, that's not why. You're an idiot, loser. However, Jackie, I was wondering. Listen, I am currently getting my shit punched in on those GameStop warrants. I started shorting them at $1.60. Shoot, silly me. I was busy buying situational awareness and then offloading their portfolio for billions. But my GME position, I'm worried about that. You keep telling everybody about this pattern. You keep telling me about this pattern, and you keep telling them that it's going to do this thing. And Jackie, I thought we had an agreement. Wait, whoa. You can't start throwing around accusations like that. Whoa. What was our agreement? I don't remember that. You promised me that you said GME would cap out at 3,000. You didn't say anything about the warrants. Well, but you shorted those. I didn't. You did. Well, but oh. Yeah. Well, but you're a loser, and I hate you. And Jimmy will never go up. Click. Wow, it's been a while since we heard from Ken. He sounds a little concerned. Ken sounds Oh, who could this be, chat? Yes, hello, Jackie speaking again. Hello, Jackie. It is I, Himothy. And I am here to tell you, you better watch that damn options chain. Because we're about to take over. Meow. Man, it is getting strange on this show. It's getting strange on this show, folks. It's getting lit in this show right now. I was told, this is just what I heard. Guys, I just heard that if everybody types into the chat box, we might watch this volume bar break the high of the day. That's just what I was told. It's not for sure confirmed, but there's a chance that if everybody went there's a chance that something may go down here. There's a chance, and we're gonna keep an eye on this options thing all day, folks, because this is becoming very, very interesting. These sold puts, folks, these aren't, listen, the last time that we saw the premiums have negative puts like this or extreme negative premium is typically when we saw those guys doing 0 day to end options on those OPEX days. Other than that, we really haven't seen kind of longer term stuff, right? Other than I'll say those 2028s that have that's just been nonstop, so we don't really care about that. But this is very different. Somebody just slapped 19 and 20 strike calls to sell those for put, or excuse me, I said calls, 20 strike puts. They took 19 and 20 strike puts and they sold those. And those expire in December. Those are December 18, 2026 puts that are being sold. That's very fucking bullish. Like that's crazy, crazy, crazy fucking bullish. And this is like the first little, little ray of hopium that we have seen show up on the chart. And I'm really hopeful. I'm really hopeful that we can continue to see this premium. I want to see another batch. I want to see another batch, $18 puts, $21 puts. Give me one more batch of these. And I'm going to start feeling really good. I'm also going to say that I'm loving what I see with the warrants. The warrants are now up 8%, 7%, 8%, 6%, anywhere in that ballpark. Anytime I say something, that's when it starts going down. So that's what we kind of got going on there. And then watch out for that bearishly divergent touch that we were talking about on the 30-minute. I think it's probably more likely to get to that harmonic completion than it would be to play the 30-minute failure swing out on SPY, but just be aware. And then, so that's kind of what we got going on here, folks. It's there's some excitement. There's some life. There's some signs that are showing up. And then Calvin, what the heck did Calvin do? Where's Calvin? Did he DM me? No. On Bitcoin. And if I look at Bitcoin and I see that this is over negative 1%, I'm going to have a feeling that Calvin absolutely cooked his Bitcoin short. So let's take a quick peek here. Oh, yeah. That's probably why. Yeah, look at that, folks. You got your 3 touches of bearish divergence in overbought territory. And I think there were some folks in the Discord, Ibro, Skydaddy, Calvin. I think there was a couple of those guys in there that were using that perpetual futures short thingy, whatever. And I think they made an absolute crushing. on that thing. So nice job there, guys. Nice job. Check the super chat, dumbass. Well, nothing shows up, you dick. There's no message. It just says from your fucking name, you fucking dick. Well, now I'm going to look. So hold on a second. Yeah, you didn't even send me a fucking message, you fucking dick. Yeah, you fucking dick. Oh, Calvin, you son of a bitch. Fucking Google. Was there a super chat?
Yeah, he sent a super chat for $1.
Oh, he said locked in BTC gains, one of my largest. Here's $2. I did see it, Calvin. I was trying to scam you for another $2, so that's what happens, bitch. Free will. Okay, I did get to that one. T-Rix Gnomes with the $5 bomb says, with 90-day mortgage defaults and credit card debt basically at all-time highs, I'm watching puts on home builders and regional banks after elections. All right, that's not a bad idea. I still think everybody that wants to short the market is way too early. I think everybody is way too early because typically the year after the midterms is one of the strongest years in the markets. So I'm not super convinced. I'm not like crazy convinced that the top is here. And we've seen credit card debt at all-time highs or close to all-time highs for a while. So I don't disagree with your idea. I would just caution about how early it may potentially be. So that's where I would kind of fall on that one for right now, Mr. T-Rix. Did you have any stocks in particular in mind? Then Red Rum said, can you look at Microsoft? I'm in called 0 day to end with stops up. What's a good profit target? I was aiming for 517. You said Microsoft? Well, I would be taking profits right now, personally, if that was me in calls. But then I guess the next logical area would probably be 527, but there's no fucking way you're getting there today. So I guess the 1.13 extension off of this fib is the profit target. So 518, 519. Somewhere in that ballpark would probably seem logical. But you are at what could be argued a top because you are kind of got like this rounding formation. So just be aware of that. Alrighty, and then GME's warrants coming back a little bit after having that solid pop. So GME's warrants having a little bit of a pullback following that pop, but I think a lot of that's just coming back because the SPY had a big nasty candle here within the last like 5 minutes or so. Last 5, 10, 15 minutes have been pretty rough on SPY. So don't be surprised if we see a little bit of a retracement. Not a big deal though. Davy King with the 5 says, please check ARRY. ARRY or ARRY, Array Technology. I would personally wait for it. I would wait for it to hit these lows because I feel pretty strongly that it would. It looks like there's probably a weekly TD sequential count. Yeah, so you have a TD sequential 9 count on the weekly. So the potential for it to find some exhaustive behavior and then look for a reversal is certainly there. But I would be patient and I would look for it to come back down to this low. That being said, there could also be something harmonic here. So let me just draw this really quick. You could argue it's already completed. It's not ideal. What if I did this? No, I don't like that either. So, shiggity schwa. Daily RSI. Could argue there's like a RSI wedge of some kind, probably on the 4 hour that's attempting to break out. So maybe paired with that 9 count on the daily, it wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of consider this as more of like a longer term trade where you would kind of set your risk below this box and then your reward would be, retesting any one of these highs up here. So, theoretically, you could just pull like a quick little fib to get an idea. And so like 550 to 6 would probably be a target off of that. So that's what I would say on that one. SPY, SPY is straight nuking, folks. That bearish divergence on the 30-minute that's setting up a failure swing, I bet you it's also on the hourly. No, it's not. Just on the 30-minute. So watch out for the 30-minute failure swing. It's a big one. There's a big failure swing on the 30-minute that has developed. So watch out for that. If it breaks this box, it's going to go way fucking lower. Way fucking lower. So be very, very cautious on SPY here because it's very close to that 30-minute failure swing. All right. Hopefully it bounces. We want it to bounce so that GME can, or at least GME's warrants can find some support and carry on. All right. Geometro. Oh, thank God. Yakov is here. Oh, thank God. And then John Greenwick with the $10 buy Marino. John Greenwick, is there a stock that you would like me to look at, sir? And then Northern Gorilla says, Jackie just sent you via PayPal. Can you follow up with another 120? You sent me 300 Canadian. And then I'll get you. Did you send me your X or your Discord? Okay, I got your Discord or your Twitter, so I'll send it to you on Twitter here in just give me a couple minutes. Give me a couple minutes and I'll fire it over to you. Alrighty. AMSC. Well, I was still working on it. So AMSC has that daily RSI wedge, right? You've got your daily RSI wedge or channel or whatever. I think the focus right now on AMSC, let's see here. First, we could pull a fib from low to high. You're below the 236. You've opened and closed below it, which gives you an 80% chance of going to the 382. So that makes me nervous. And then the other thing that kind of makes me nervous is the fact that you have a daily death cross on this thing, right? That sort of doesn't exactly paint a beautiful picture, especially as this thing has sort of been pushing down, I'll say, for the last like year. So I'm a little nervous about this thing, but I guess at this stage here, like if you're thinking that RSI wedge could end up holding, I guess the next thing you would want to do is just draw a simple box along those lows. And then your risk is losing the low of the box, right? Your risk is losing the low of that box. That's where you wouldn't want it anymore. And then your reward is back testing probably the death cross and then maybe the 236. So that's what I would say about AMSC. All right, AMSC. We've got GameStop warrants pushing back a little bit. SPY looking to try and get some support on the failure swing trend line. Everything had pulled back there with SPY. Everything sort of pulled back there with SPY. All right, everything sort of just pulled back there with SPY. Fucking Calvin, what a legend. What a legend. Nice job on your Bitcoin trade, Calvin. Good job, dude. Okay, let's get back into the chat box here. NFG Sciences says, Jackie, when you get a chance, can you read this? Oh, what a legend. Huh? Yeah, what a legend. And then you guys are still talking FNGR, so how's that thing holding up? Is it still at 50 cents or whatever? Yeah, 59 cents. So testing the 4-hour 200, testing the macro 382, and testing that box of prior support as resistance. So you've got a lot of work to do. But you can't be... I'm negative because I didn't buy this thing on the low, and what I see is a very clear downtrend. So hear me out on this. I'm not purposefully trying to be negative to scare you. It's that I don't want people to FOMO and jump into silly things like this because lots of you guys already had positions from 60 cents all the way down to like 15 cents. A lot of you guys already had positions on the stock. So for me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, I don't want you guys to FOMO it because it's at resistance and it's at an area where it could be, have a little bit of a pivot there and push back and turn around again. So I don't want you guys to FOMO in and make silly decisions, right? So the simplest approach at this stage is for some of you guys, maybe wait for it to make a bull flag, or maybe wait for it to make some sort of bull continuation structure that says to you guys, oh, okay, now I can sort of FOMO into this and try and push it a little bit higher. But for the majority of you guys that were in the Discord checking out this particular trade that was mentioned by a few different people, lots of you guys have been establishing positions really since like 50 or 60 cents. And lots of you guys have been adding to those positions, waiting for this day, and you got that move, right? So for you guys, you have the ability to sort of move stops up and just kind of, go with the flow on this one versus someone like me where I didn't enter this. So I'm looking at this. It's at resistance in a downtrend. I don't want to jump into this. It's not that it can't go higher, and I'm not trying to discourage you from thinking that it can't. It's that I'm trying to think about like, my channel and how many people watch this channel. And I don't want you guys to make silly decisions. Silly decisions is FOMOing into stocks that are up 300% on the day. Right. So the easier approach is let it build a bull flag and give you like if it does this, right? Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm thinking about getting into this, but I don't have defined risk. Well, now you do, right? There's your risk below the wick of the bull flag. And then here's your reward is breaking out to the 0.5 or breaking to the golden pocket. That's a big trade. And I'm not telling you to do this because I'm not doing this personally. But this is how I would approach this if I was saying, oh, okay, maybe there is a trade to be made here with big percentages on a stock that's really cheap. But the stock has to, sort of give me some signs of something, right, that I can make a tangible trade on. So that's what I would say there. All right. And then SPY is still nuking. SPY is still nuking. That 30-minute failure swing is getting very worrying now. That 30-minute failure swing is getting very worrying now. All right. Okay. GME chat. Oh man, everybody is just so dead. Everybody just wants GME so badly to go up, man. And I feel you. I feel you on that. I want it to go up just as badly. But we're getting the initial little breadcrumbs. And that's really all we can ask for. My God, if we close today and then we get an announcement from GameStop that the bond VWAP thingy has been closed early, I will shit my fucking pants, dude. Whatever happened with the bob and weave, I still haven't explained it. I left it to you guys to try and figure out portions of what I was talking about. So I left it in the hands of you guys to try and figure out. That doesn't mean I'm not going to tell you. I'm just not going to tell you yet. Got to make you try and work for it a bit. Got to make you try and work for it a bit. Can you elaborate on closing it early? Well, I think, now, obviously the smarter people in the chat box can correct me if I'm wrong. I think that window could be closed at any time so long as the equity is fulfilled on the part of GameStop. So it doesn't necessarily have to go all the way to that 35 window. It could theoretically be closed early, and maybe, I hope that it is, but I'm not placing a bet that it will be early. I'm just hopeful that it could be. And that, again, that could be a potential little catalyst that could really fucking propel us out of here like a motherfucker. So I guess more than anything, I'm just hopeful. So that's it. No, I never got any correct answers. Nope. Yeah, he certainly does. All right. GameStop warrants still fighting for their life. SPY is puking. SPY is just straight pukage mode right now. Straight pukage mode off of the 30-minute failure swing. So if it goes through the center line, folks, SPY is going to puke the rest of the day. So hopefully that's not what happens, but I as long as it's above the center line, we got to stay bullish. But once we slip below that, that's where things get really concerning. So, fuck, I know, right? Bob is weaving shit, so that's it. There you go. Look at you. Seeing MSTR come down with BTC at the same time as SPY is interesting. I think I'm assuming, I didn't listen to the Fed speech, so I can't say this definitively, but I'm assuming that there was a lot of different talking points that were coming out of Warsh's speech earlier this morning. So I'll have to go back and listen to that and give you guys some highlights about what was said. But I imagine that a lot of that has to do perhaps with inflation, perhaps raising and cutting interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. So probably a lot to talk about with regards to monetary policy in the U.S., but I didn't feel like doing that on a Friday, and I didn't feel like being boring, especially when GME and the stock has just been having so much fun with the warrants. So, yeah. I would want at Refi Jeffy to confirm if they could close it earlier. I may very well be incorrect about that. Sorry for yelling at you. All right, let's check back in with the chat box. Warsh was hawkish. Oh, that's not good. I mean, it's bullish for the economy that he is hawkish because we don't want to blow the shit up. But, let's go over to the members charting list. Members charting list. All right, let's go to the bottom here. Matty Ice. What is Matty Ice? What's this fucking USD JPY? He's got this cool trend line. USD JPY. So he has the opposite of this trend line. So I'm just looking at Japanese yen futures, which continue to dump. He's got USD to JPY. And that is when USD is over the Japanese yen. So that is the opposite chart of this. So just like this. And he's got this cool little trend line drawn right here. So I might have mistaken this. It might be from there. But yeah, got this cool little trend line right there. And it does certainly look like the USD wants to continue to make a little bit of a push up, doesn't it? USD's actually been on a little bit of tear the last, like week and a half almost. That's interesting. Cool. Yeah, I like that trend line. That's cool. On the weekly chart, you were drawing that? Oh, shit. Whoa. Okay, I got you. Wow. Okay. Hey, that's pretty cool. Wow. That's really cool. Finding support off that on the weekly 50. So looks like the yen is in for more trouble. So shout out Scott Bessent taking $20 billion worth of American taxpayer cash and loading it into the 52-week high of the Japanese yen. Let's all give him a round of applause. Just impeccable stuff from an ex-hedge fund failed manager. So congratulations. That's elite level training, and we're all so proud of him and his really good work. So good job. And then we've got the SPY, which is being very fucking weird. We've got GameStop warrants have now just really relaxed. Quite a significant chunk. Let's keep going in the members charting list. Question: which one of these highs would you pull your fib from on LPSN? So Joey Yo-Yo is asking on this chart right here in the Discord, which of these highs would you pull your fib from on LPSN? Well, all these other ones, all over here and all through here, they don't really, kind of encapsulate what we're doing on price action. So what I would say is I'd pull the fib from right there. So that looks like July or August of 2025, it looks like, to give you the most appropriate fib. So if we head over to LPSN, we go to the daily and we'll pull that fib from that highest high there in August. So high to low. There you go. And it looks like you are above or resting right on the macro 236 of that Fibonacci retracement. So that's what I would say on that one. It looks like your idea of how you wanted to draw that was correct. I think you got it. I think you did great. And then Kingsburg, BKKT. Stopped out in profit from this. It's broken the booger line from the inside bar. Okay. Well, okay. What's another? Open, rejected. Yeah, open has been a huge fucking turd recently. One-Eyed King talking about PayPal with the acquisition not going through. It's not the worst thing. Probably better long-term. I agree. TA hot coffee on the daily and weekly. Daily more interests me. 0.5 Golden Cross moving out. Yeah, I see the same things on PayPal, and I like it there. I do like the way that PayPal is testing that Golden Cross and looking to build some support on it. So obviously it's just the first day of a gap down with the news coming out that Stripe pulled their offer from PayPal or is no longer interested in pursuing it. But it has just taken it right back to the Golden Cross that is currently taking place on the chart. So not anything overly negative, just kind of bleh, So we'll have to see how it reacts to that Golden Cross. And then Aaliyah, what's this, a fib time zone? From the high of 2017 to the lows of 2019. And then you're saying we're going through a fib time zone on the monthly right now. Okay, that's interesting, I guess. Take a peek at this. Bitcoin. Oh, wow. Calvin, your fucking Bitcoin short is exploding. Calvin's Bitcoin short is definitely exploding. It's exploding. Bitcoin monthly fib time zone 2017 to 2019. Bum. Get rid of all this. Get out of here. Fib time zone. Boom. To the boom. And, I don't have that. Oh, maybe because you're using the other Bitcoin chart. I've seen that problem a few times. People using the Bitstamp one and not the Coinbase one. So you say it's 2017. So that's this one to this. And that's the low. That's the lowest low on the monthly. And I still don't have that. So I think you may have that one drawn a little goofy there, Leah. I think maybe. So on the monthly time frame, you want to draw it from the highest high on the month of December of 2017 to the lowest low, which was December 18th. And then you can see I've got my fibs turned on there, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. And the most recent one that we just went through on the monthly was on December 1st of last year. So that's what I see there for the fib time zone on Bitcoin. I'm going to erase all this because I'm just getting really annoyed with how much fucking shit is on there. So now that makes me feel better and I feel good. And now I don't hate myself. So it's good. Okay. So, yeah, that's what I got for that Bitcoin fib time zone. Where does it look like you... because you drew it on the next one. You didn't take it on the low. You took it on the candle beside the low. Okay, I see. Okay. Let's see here. Neo near the demand zone. All right, let's take a look at Neo. So Neo, just hide this harmonic temporarily. Okay, I see the support. I don't know that it's necessarily hard support. It kind of looks like underneath it and closer to here appears to be maybe a little bit better. So I would feel a little bit more comfortable waiting for it down at 350, 360. But I definitely understand your interest in this thing right here at these lows, because you can see the stock at these very lows that he's targeting right here. That's a low. And that's a low. And both times that the stock was at these lows, it had a really significant rise. And then that followed it up with another really significant rise. So I can see the interest at this level. I can definitely understand it. It's also a golden pocket. Do you have any divergence or anything? Not on the daily. Well, on the daily, I guess technically. I just would have preferred it to be in the bull zone, or bear zone, excuse me. That would have been better. I don't like the way the weekly looks either. 4 hour. Okay, the 4 hour is a little bit better. I can kind of dig the 4 hour, maybe making some bullish divergence. I don't see any wedges or anything that immediately jump out at me. Let's check in on the MACD. So MACD. Why do they make it so fucking small? Yeah, MACD doesn't look very positive right now either. I would be very patient and let it prove signs here. Let it actually build some support here before you get overzealous. But it's interesting. I just personally, I think that the better area for a targeted long is probably back down here. It's probably the best area. But maybe not necessarily the area, just that's where I think the best trade would probably take place. All right, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of hand on that one, sir. Kingsburg, he's talking about Open. Open has been a gigantic fucking asshole. Ever since that huge harmonic completion, this thing has done nothing. But the idea of that sloppy diamond toppy breaking down certainly looks like it works. So that's where pattern recognition and understanding patterns really plays its part, right, guys? Because if you look at the pattern index on Bulkowski's website, diamond bottoms are actually the number 1 fake out breakdown pattern. So it fakes a breakout and then it has a big breakdown that tends to go all the way to that profit target. Your options would have turned Vision 2 because there's either a split or a warrant or a dividend or something that was announced. So that would probably be my idea. That would probably be my idea. Alrighty, on Open. Open is such a fucking disappointing asshole stock. Okay, let's keep going. What else do I have in here? The Alley Cat, WLDN. I entered this last week, and it's been a whiny bitch all week, but it's forming a bull flag within a bull flag within a bull flag within a bull flag. Hoping to see a breakout. That's WLDN. WLDN. What's this? Wildan Group. Okay, well, I see what could resemble a bull flag. Let's see if we pulled a fib from high to low. Probably resting near 382. Yep, so resting right above it. So 86 is the level that you don't want to lose. You hold 86 and life can carry on for you. Alrighty, and then, you could even argue that this is a descending scallop. Could certainly argue that's a descending scallop. It's one of the worst scallops for performance, but you could argue that it's there. Let's see. What else did we have? Let's see here. Thoughts on Ethereum? Yeah, we could take a peek at Ethereum, sure. Ethereum actually did make a higher high relative to its trend versus what Bitcoin did. But it too is also bearishly divergent at those highs. Having said that, it's in the bull zone and it's borderline consolidating at these highs. I'm not longing it. How about that? No matter how bullish I might think it looks here, I'm not longing it. Because I think Bitcoin's going to keep coming backwards. I think Bitcoin's going to come back to this indicator signal it launched from at 64.7. And I think once it comes back there, I think it might make a lower low that could then set us up for a really fucking good long opportunity on this thing. But I'm not there on crypto yet. I'm just fucking not there yet. So that's kind of my thoughts on Ethereum, is that Ethereum is kind of like the gauge of the shitcoin brigade. And this thing is showing signs and symptoms of life, but because Bitcoin left that indicator signal, it just makes me think everything's going to have one more pushback, and then we can get aggressive. I'm just going to say congrats to all the traders in the Discord that were shorting BTC. On that high. Well done, guys. Yeah, that was really, really impressive by those guys. They fucking crushed that. Sky Daddy, Calvin, and Ibro. Those guys were shorting Bitcoin and ETH last night, and they absolutely fucking cooked. At Calvin, at Sky Daddy, at Ibro. So good job, guys. You fucking absolutely crushed that shit. If you guys were in there last night too, really good job, guys. Seriously, you fucking smoked that. You got the right idea, GME Cat. You got the right idea. You're welcome. I was calling for distribution Wyckoff 3-minute on AMD the last 2 weeks. A 2-week long distribution on the 3-minute time frame. All right. For how many weeks was it? Is it 2? So this? You call for distribution? I would probably flat out disagree. I don't really see anything that resembles distribution, because typically distribution happens at highs, right? Not lows. And if you're thinking this could potentially be distribution, this is coming off of the back of already gapping down. So it'd be hard to distribute something on such a small time frame while you're trading at these highs. What I would probably put a little bit more focus on is the fact that this is making like the world's biggest complex head and shoulders. Like this is a massive, massive, massive complex head and shoulders. Like this is massive. There's fucking shoulder, head, shoulder. So you want to talk about distribution? The 4-hour daily chart probably looks a little bit more like distribution than that 3-minute chart would. I would also say that, the important thing you'd want to do now is pull a fib from the most recent lowest low to the highest high and look at where you are, right? You're probably right at the 236. So is it wrong? No, I can't say it's right or wrong. So I would just disagree with you. And what I would say is if you were hoping that this was distribution, your first clear areas of support to break in order to see a bigger move are probably going to be here at the 4-hour 200 and here at the macro 236 at about 447. So that's what I would say about this thing on AMD. Let's just check the daily indicator. Oh, Jesus. Look at the RSI wedge. Wow. Look at the RSI wedge on AMD. Holy smokes. Holy shirts and pants. That's quite the RSI wedge there, folks. Holy moly. But that doesn't mean it couldn't distribute down lower first before maybe finding a touch on the bottom side of that. I disagree that it's 3-minute distribution, but in the more macro, there's a conversation to be had for sure. In the more macro, definitely a conversation to be had. All righty. SoFi coming back inside the band. SoFi. Man, SoFi is just having a fuck of a time breaking that resistance. If it rejects this again on those bearishly divergent touches barely above the center line, I would almost 100% anticipate it coming back to 15. And then I would look to long the shit out of 15 again. But that rejection of fucking 19 has just been a son of a bitch for this thing. It's just been a son of a bitch. So, too bad for SoFi right now. I wanted to check in on Unity and see if that was going lower. Why are you green? The market is fucked. Stop being green, you fucking asshole. SPY, ever since that failure swing, folks, watch out for the center line. The center line is now your confirmation of that breakout. Your center line is now going to be the confirmation of that breakout move. So very, very, very close to witnessing a potential larger breakdown on the failure swing of SPY for the 30-minute time frame. So be very cautious here, folks. Be very cautious. All righty. Checking back in with the chat box. BTC dump. That's Hugs all the way down to 64K. Congrats. 3 months. I mean, bro. Oh, 3 months. I thought you meant 3 minutes. Okay. Well, if you meant 3 months, then yeah, you're definitely, that's better. That's a lot better. It's a cup with handle, says Raju. On Bitcoin? Or are you talking Ethereum? On Ethereum, okay, maybe you could make that argument. Let's see where cup with handles rank for bullish reversals. Chart patterns, rank, top 10. And let's see. So top 10 bullish reversals. No cup, 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 no cup. Okay, so cup with handles don't rank very well as a bullish reversal pattern. However, if we scroll down one more scroll, we'll find bullish continuation patterns. And right there at the top would be a cup with handle. So it looks like cup with handles, as far as continuation patterns, tend to perform extremely well. But this isn't seeking the continuation of an uptrend. This would be seeking the reversal of a macro downtrend that we've had since basically September of last year. So if you were now thinking, okay, well, maybe it's Bitcoin, well, then I would say the exact same thing about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been in a downtrend for over a year's time now. So if you were hoping that this could be a cup with handle that would ultimately reverse the trend, well, the pattern doesn't exactly lay a level of reliability to that, given that it doesn't even rank in the top 10 for reversals. However, when you see it at the top of a trend, right, such as this, then it becomes easier to look for the breakout. But when it's happening at the bottom, seeking a reversal, significantly less reliable. And again, I'm going to turn people's attention to the absolutely gigantic daily indicator signal that was left on that candle right there back at 64.7. And if this breaks down, right, if we slip below this trend line, which is sort of already doing, and it breaks down, why would you not immediately aim for that indicator signal knowing that there's a 95% chance that we're going to get there? On top of the fact that we just printed 2 touches of bearish divergence in the overbought zone. The number one thing now, in order to see the Bitcoin short, I'll say, come all the way back down, guys, is going to be slipping below the EMA and losing the bull zone. That's the final boss for all shorts. If Bitcoin slips below the EMA, slips below the bull zone, it's GG's. And then SPY is just nuking, bro. SPY is fucking dying. I'm not even joking, you guys. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. SPY in the last 50 minutes. In the last 50 minutes, it's dropped $6. And that failure swing broke confirmation, and it's now testing center. So SPY is legit puking. Like SPY is actually nuking into the fucking ground. I'm pissed off that fucking Unity isn't dumping because I want my puts to be up. I guess that's a little selfish, but I want my puts to be up. What do you mean? Then Roblox, Pedo Defender. Wow, MRVL down 10% on the day. So I called Roblox Pedo Defender, and then it took a while to load, so shocker. So it still looks like it's in a bear flag to me. I don't really see anything that immediately kind of jumps out at me other than a bunch of hidden bearish divergence and the RSI still below center. So I don't see anything that immediately jumps out at me yet. Weekly, assuming this is going to load. So weekly could have a touch of bullish divergence, maybe. Maybe. But it's very, very tough to say right now. Very difficult to say. So it could, but it's got a lot of work to do. So we'll see what happens. I see cost is up 6%. So bouncing off of that macro 0.5 Fibonacci in that weekly RSI wedge. Better write that one down as well. Cost weekly RSI wedge. Okay, got that written in the book. Daily, drop to the daily for costs. So entry where the stop loss is. Entry where the stop loss is, and watch how good this will be. I'm telling you guys, the entry where your stop loss thing is just criminally underrated. I did want to take a peek at MRVL because I didn't realize it was down such a big percent. A lot of stocks are down big percents. I also see Rivian down 7%. For you. What else? I just saw MRVL there. I wanted to look at this. MRVL, Jesus. So basically right back towards those lows of support at 210. But still looks okay. A lot of these things are gapping down, but still to areas of support. CRCL, I still would like to see it get to the 106 indicator signal, but nice hard down day today. A little retracement. GameStop warrants sitting chill. Not really too much going on there. GameStop warrants just chilling like a villain. Oh, and then we do have a little 15-minute RSI trend line that has built. We do have a little something going on here, so there you go. Little 15-minute trend line going on, so good stuff. Sweet. That's good. And then maybe we could get the MACD to go below center, and then we could set up a cross for later. I do wonder if this might be harmonic. If it is, that's a terrible number. So what about here? And that would imply what? Back to $2. Okay. All right. Well, I think it's a pretty shitty one, but so I'm not going to bother drawing it yet. But and then we've got this trend line on this for the warrants that I really hope we don't break below because that's going to be fucking sucky. So see if that holds. Unity, where's SPY? Let's get SPY back on here. Let's go back to the 30-minute. Yeah, so SPY still just taking a nasty shit. It is trying to find a little bit of support off of this area here. It is attempting to find a little bit of support there on that box. So big spot for the 30-minute. Because if it holds, the 30-minute should bounce off center. We should be okay. But if it loses that, fuck. So let's not lose it. How about that? Let's just not lose it, and then we'll be good, and everything will be fine. And then we'll check back in on the chat box and see what you guys got going on. Hey, Jackie, how do you feel about losing Lake Ontario? I feel like Americans forget about the history of Lake Ontario and how an American, an American settler or an American discoverer, he's actually the one that named it Lake Ontario because he named it Lake Ontario before the province of Ontario ever existed. So the guy who runs your country is actually brain dead and retarded and doesn't understand a single fucking thing about history because he's dumb as fuck. But yeah, that's actually how that came to be, in case you guys were wondering. Yep, true. That's actually a very true story. So yeah, it's not that you ever lost it. You guys were actually the ones that named it that. And then Canada came along and we named one of our provinces Ontario. And so why is the market dog shit today though? Because Mr. Warsh spoke. Mr. Warsh spoke, and lots of people were suggesting that he was pretty hawkish. And so it sounds like a lot of the market was not very impressed with what he said. Are y'all buying puts? No, it's a bull market. I would never buy puts. I only buy puts on things that have a clear trading opportunity, like Unity. Fugazi, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, Fugazi. SPY 1 minute failure swing. All right, let's take a peek. SPY 1 minute. I would maybe adjust that and say, do other time frames show that same thing? Because the 1 minute is very unreliable, right? Because what could happen now is you think it's a failure swing, and then it goes like this, and it gets to the center, and then you have a huge touch of hidden bearish divergence, and then you want to keep holding long, but then it rejects the center, and it keeps downtrending, and you get cooked. So just be very cautious, because none of the other smaller time frames confirm that bullish divergence, right? Or that failure swing. So you're not wrong. Just be semi-cautious of that fact of what I've drawn on here. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have on here? Should have known yesterday to sell everything. Why? What happened? Jackie, thank you for seeing me, but I just made a stupid joke continuing the other day. Thank you for the... you're welcome. Yeah, I know. You're totally fine. It's okay. I know. Holy with PayPal. Yeah, so PayPal had this Stripe offer pulled away. Or they're no longer... They don't want it anymore is what it sounds like, so... Rum with a cup with handle? Yeah, we can check that one out. Yeah, we can check that out. Let's see. What stock was that again? Sorry. Rum. Yeah, so I think we even drew this. Yeah, so rum definitely does have a potential cup with handle beginning to form. The lower trend line is going to be difficult to draw right now because we don't really have any like confirmation of it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This definitely could potentially print a cup with handle. But right now, nice rounding bottom formation. Very nice bullish pattern. I just hate that rum left that indicator signal right there. You guys see that? Left a big indicator signal back at just below $6. So that makes me just a little nervous. And then SPY trying to fight back. So let's see if Jackie's drawing of that hidden bearish divergence works. Let's see if Jackie can predict it before it actually happened. Or does he just get egg directly on his face? Let's find out in today's episode. All right, Dr. Snuffleupagus, SPY, bounce, get right shoulder, and then die. Oh, you're thinking maybe a head and shoulders. Oh, okay. I can dig that. Can you dig it, sucker? I can dig it. History lesson with Jackie. Shout out history lessons. Just got caught up. Thanks for the analysis on SNDK. You're welcome. Wondering if we double bottom and have the potential harmonic on CoreWeave. CoreWeave, what did you say, 1 minute? Why are you guys trading the 1 minute charts? Why are you guys cracking out on the 1 minute charts? You guys smoking crack. Put the crack pipe down. And what did you say? You said maybe double bottom. Oh, I see. Okay, you're thinking if it comes back down here, is there something harmonic? I don't think so. I'm going to say no because this retracement is not good. But I love your idea of looking for a double bottom. Like I could not love that idea more, especially given the fact that you've seen it bounce at that area of support 4 times before on CoreWeave. So I love your idea. I think that's a great idea. Fuck the harmonic, right? I think you got a great idea looking for it to double bottom at macro support. So I would say go with that one and stick with your gut of the double bottom at about 64, 65, 63, somewhere in that ballpark. But yeah, I love that. That's great. Ugh. All right, this guy said he'll pay me a nickel if I explain what VWAP is. He said he'll give me a nickel if I explain what VWAP is. So I'll just give you guys a very, very simple explanation as to what VWAP is. All right, I'll give you a very simple... Oh. Oh, that's funny. So here's what I'll say about VWAP, right? VWAP, or volume weighted average price, is looking at the candles, right? So for example, if I put an anchored VWAP right here, okay, at the peak of this move before it goes down, what it's doing, all right, is it's looking at every single one of these candles in which we have seen this swing down in this little move here. It's looking at each one of these candles, and then it's looking not only at the size of the move that was made on those candles, but then it takes into account the volume that pushed those candles into that movement. So I'll give you an example. If you saw a sharp candle that went straight down, but the volume was very small, the volume weighted average price would not take much I got to be careful with the language. It wouldn't look at that candle in the same way that it would if there was another candle that went straight up, but the volume looked more like this. It would then, the volume weighted average price, or at least in this example here that we have the anchored VWAP, would look at that and it would say, well, the down move was weak and the up move had lots of volume along with an extended and positive candle. So what you could see is the anchored VWAP would probably start to slope up because it is putting more weight into the candles that are large with volume behind them than it is with candles that are large that lack the volume behind them. That's all VWAP is. That's the simplest explanation that I can give you. Alrighty. So that's all VWAP is. And so you guys can kind of see it with the example that we've drawn here. It is calculating every candle within this box that I've drawn right here. Okay, so it's calculating every candle within this box right here. And what we can see is based on where I've placed the anchor VWAP up here, we can see that there are 1 big candle, 2 big candle, 3, 4 big candle, 5 big candles so far. Now, if we look at the 5 big candles that we've seen, number 1 was sharp, aggressive, down, big volume. Number 2, sharp, aggressive, but an inside bar. So really not that bad. And then the 2 at this bottom here were basically dojis. So pretty negative, kind of negative, and then flat, flat. And then look at this one. This is a big bullish candle, full tilt right to the top in the highest volume of this sequence. So the VWAP is going to look at that and it's going to start pricing that in. It's going to start saying, wow, we should put more weight to this because there was lots of volume behind a very positive candle. And now look at what the VWAP has done. It went from going like this, and as soon as that candle hit, it went like this. And now as we begin to see some positive candles with some good volume behind them, we now start to see that VWAP want to turn, right? So that's all VWAP is it's looking at the candles and then it's taking into consideration, okay, the candle did make a big move, but was there actual volume behind it? Was there actual buying? Was there actual selling? That's the question. All right, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of a hand there, sir. FBI, open up. We got a warrant. All right, thanks for the $1. NFT Sciences, thanks for the Ontario lesson. Did you know the guy, Jerry, from the hit sitcom Seinfeld, is played by none other than the actor/comedian Jerry Seinfeld? You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. You're telling me that the guy named Jerry plays Jerry Seinfeld in Seinfeld? You're joking. Why would you do this to me? Fugazi News with the 5. Appreciate you, my man. Good to see you. Michael C. on the 5-minute and the 10-minute on GME. Is there bullish divergence? Technically, no. Because you have a lower low, right? And this is a lower low as well. So technically, no. What you would need to see is price to make a lower low and for the RSI to be like up here. So then it would be a higher low, right? That would give you the confirmation of that bullish divergence. So on the 15-minute, there might be an RSI wedge forming on GameStop. I definitely see that. So it's good that you pointed that out because now we found something cool on GME there. Nice little 15-minute RSI wedge. So there you go. That's cool. Yeah, it looks good too. Yep. That's nice. Sweet. Okay. What else do we got going on? GameStop warrants are fighting back. Back to 240 now. GameStop warrants fighting back. Good call, that guy. I just saw that in real time. Good job. Poopacabra, good to see you, buddy. Deezy Geezy, thoughts on Hertz? So you guys, some of you guys were trading that hourly RSI wedge strategy. Now you got to break the macro 236 at, I think it's 218, but let me just make sure. Yeah, 218. So that's what we're looking at on Hertz. You're looking for the break of 220. Let's just call it 220 to make it a nice even number. And then SPY is still a gigantic piece of shit right now. Oh, man. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blue, blah, blah. Hoobity, blue, blah, blah. All right, what else do we got going on in the chat box? Vinci Elliott says, I'm just here for Misha. Where's Misha? Say hello to everybody. Can you speak? Can you speak? Misha, can you speak? Hey? Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? Yeah, there you go. Good job. There you go. Good job. Yeah. Yeah, good job. Shivas says, I saw the Jackson Hole and I want Papa Powell back. Oh, yeah, I know. I can only imagine. When you say entry where your initial stop loss is, does that mean to add to your position where the initial stop loss is? It's all dependent on you. So for me, oftentimes I like to just build the position. So I like to do exactly as you described, which means just add to the position at the stop loss. In the case of that cost trade that we were showing, I wasn't making a trade for an entry where my stop loss was. I was making the trade that you see exactly as I have put it on screen. So I did not have an entry where the stop loss was. So I got stopped out on this, but I'm willing to rebuy this, taking that little micro L that was only 10% on $1,000. I'm willing to reload that at these lows and then just having an entry where the stop loss is. Sometimes I'll build the position in cases like, I'll say like Chewy or AMC or Unity or Gush or any of those kind of like longer term trades. But yeah, for the most part, I would say that the entry where the stop loss is, especially, you know, those of you with smaller accounts, I would draw the box, but not take the trade. And then I would take the same box and put that at the stop loss. And then I would trade this one. And I'm not telling you to trade costs right now. I'm just showing you an example here of an entry where the stop loss is and what I mean by that. Because if you have $500, it doesn't really benefit you to take that initial entry if the idea is that potentially you could see it come to the stop loss and then get a better entry there, which is also more macro support. This is the macro 0.5 Fibonacci that you guys see in red. So that's, you know, all of this is in the Discord, by the way. If you join the Discord, like I do actually teach all of this, including 2 individual lessons that I put together for you guys on risk management and how to manage your trades and how to put those entries where the stop losses is and how to make smarter, better decisions. Eat shit, bad robot. Eat shit. Make fucking America the, what is it, our fucking 14th province? That's what we'll go with. Oh, shit. Todd Earhart with the $2 bomb says, how about a finger check? So we've been watching finger earlier. I told you guys about that resistance at like 65 cents or something. And I told you guys that if you want to try and make like a momentum trade on this, draw a little bull flag and see if this thing can create or hold this bull flag. If it can't, then you shouldn't really have much interest in trading this because like it is a huge piece of shit. But it's gapping up so much. The problem is that the gap up is taking it right to resistance. This is macro resistance. So now you really want to see this bull flag out and you really want to see it hold this. Otherwise, there's a good chance that it'll probably just break back down like all these stocks that gap up like this. All right. I did see the GTA 6 trailer. I watched it on Netflix last night with the wife. It looks amazing, but let's get some gameplay going. You know, I want to see some like multiplayer gameplay. I don't want to watch the story shit anymore. The graphics look absolutely fucking insane, and it looks like it's going to be a great game. And I would say that my biggest takeaway after watching that with the wife last night is that the map is going to be fucking massive. That map is going to be fucking massive. So I'm definitely excited to see how that all ultimately turns out. But if I'm being honest, I'm actually more excited to see what's going to happen with the Ocarina of Time. There's speculation that perhaps next week on Tuesday or Wednesday, or the following week on the 7th or the 8th of September, we could get the Nintendo Direct Legend of Zelda release. And that's going to give us some idea of what perhaps that may look like. And et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah. I actually appreciate the 3 to 4 hour streams. 2 years ago, the 7 to 8 hour streams were hard to rewatch and take notes on the nightly. Yeah, I know. Northern Gorilla, if you could just follow up with another 120 Canadian. I just haven't added yet because I haven't had a chance to go on X. I got my phone sitting right here. I just haven't had the chance to go on, but I'll get you in there. No, I agree, Cruz. I agree. I think Ocarina of Time has the best chance to be the big, you know, like, whoa, that sort of came out of nowhere and it was really fucking good. I've watched a lot of videos on it and I saw I never knew that they made the Nintendo DS remake. I didn't know that they had remade Ocarina of Time for the 3DS or whatever it was, like fucking 15 years ago or whatever that was. So I'm really excited to see what they do with it this time. I'd love to see more people. I'd love to see some of the temples, like, you know, maybe a little bit even more intuitive than they were before. I don't know, man. I'm really jacked up for it. We've got the wife and I went out and bought 2 controllers for our Switch 2. We've been practicing our gaming. We've been cooking on fucking it's a go. So we've been cooking up on fucking Mario Kart. It's been an absolute blast recently. If you guys have Switch 2s, maybe we should get the gaming room together and fucking link up and play some Mario Party or some shit. GoldenEye 64 needs a 30th anniversary remaster. Does it ever? We were also playing that one. That was pretty fucking cracked. The wife just fucking whoops my ass on that one. I get fucking... Yeah, I get fucking torched. Super Smash 1v1 me, bro. Guy, you don't want the smoke. You don't want the smoke, bad robot. I'll fucking Kirby you into the next century. I'll drop rocks right on your dome. Jackie, how relevant is Max Payne? Mostly useless. That's my opinion. Max Payne is mostly useless. I think what I've always found more important than Max Payne is the open interest. I've always found that the open interest is always more important because it always kind of sheds some light as to where traders are sort of anticipating the stock could go on the week. And that goes for anything. SPY, GME, AMC, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Gush, oil, gold. It don't matter. Lencho? Shut up. Got to play his odd job in 007 if you want to win. Who did we play? Bond and...
I always play the same chick,
the brunette chick. She plays the brunette chick, but I can't think of the name.
That's all right. You can try odd job. You're gonna need.
Jackie plays Kirby and thinks he's good at Smash. Okay, well, I didn't realize that the shit talking was already about to begin, you little shit.
Hey, wait a second. I was Kirby. What?
No, I'm Kirby. I like Kirby.
That's
Kirby's my guy. He's my bro.
the little pink dude.
Yeah. That's my guy on Super Smash.
Pink dude that I was when we played. Do you get like an upper hand with the? I suck at
No, but they all have different moves and shit on Super Smash. Yeah, that's why. So I like Kirby because I can just jump in the air and then fucking hit the two buttons and just fall like a rock onto people and send them into the fucking stratosphere. I'm already giving away my secrets, yeah. Matty Ice says, just smoke a little and watch an 8-hour stream on 2x. The herb is the counter for the 2x speed. It slows it down. Thought you were talking about Max Payne, the video game. You used to play that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You walk that blood trail and you will never want to play it ever again.
There you go. She, there you go, Blaze. The wife used to play the fuck out of that game. So we're looking for higher concentrations of open interest. Yes. And more specifically, open interest that's close to price. Because the more open interest that's closer to price, especially if it's out of the money, that can give you an idea of where traders are sort of anticipating the stock will move. The only ones that I don't tend to pay much attention to are the January ones, because especially on lots of these stocks, people are just idiots and they just load stupid options at bad prices and then they never close them and they never hit stop losses. So they just accept the loss. So oftentimes the open interest is super skewed for January. Devin Toop says FGBI daily complex inverted head and shoulders. Beautiful potential finishing the last shoulder. All right. FGBI. Okay. I kind of see what you're saying, but I'm going to push back on you a little bit. Couldn't this potentially be a complex head and shoulders regular that's possibly forming? Could you not make that same argument? So it still needs to make another shoulder if it were. And I see your idea. I see the big one. But holy cow, that profit target is extreme. I think what I would maybe more so focus on in this instance here is just draw a fib from high and low of that swing there. Zoom in a little bit. I would say that you're currently below the 200, below the daily 50, creeping towards the death cross. You do have a daily RSI wedge, so you do have some sort of signal or sign that is certainly suggesting that you could get a pop to make that other shoulder. But once you make that other shoulder, I would start to get a little bit nervous if the RSI didn't get into the bull zone. All right. I like your MACD as well. The MACD on the daily looks good. MACD on the weekly could be cracked if it finds a way to stop. It does have a higher low currently. So if it found a way to break that daily RSI wedge and pop, you could see the RSI pull back or the MACD pull off a little bit. And that could be really beneficial for you. Alrighty, so I definitely don't hate that idea there, Gabagoo. I would just caution about the potential complex head and shoulders that's playing at this high versus the inverted one. All right, but I like the idea of catching a pop to make the next shoulder, and then you can kind of just make a decision from that point forward. You think GME, you think surprise GME earnings on Tuesday? Oh, man, I've actually been thinking about this for the last couple of days, and I've been really thinking that we could actually see something like that happen. Yeah. No, I'm almost 100% sure that the earnings is going to happen in the window. Because I've looked.
We always have great earnings and then we don't.
100%. And it's not even just that. It's that I've looked. I've been looking at the last 6 earnings that we had for September. So like this particular time, not one of them has ever been outside of between August 2nd and August. I think it was like 13th or September. Sorry, September 1st and September like 14th was the latest I saw. And so that window for the warrant thing or the bond conversion, that doesn't close until the 24th. So there's almost no way that GameStop doesn't report its earnings within that window. You know, the question I guess ultimately becomes like, is the reaction going to be crazy fucking muted because we're in that window? Or would that be the catalyst that could close the window? Or I easier to just sit back and just let it do its thing, you know, as we can. Yeah, no, and you got it exactly right. You know, that's all we sort of can do right now. God, if this turns into a fucking crab, I'm going to be jacked to the fucking tits. My God, that would take us to 340. Fuck, that'd be fucking sick. Spy. Still a gargantuan turd right now. Let's see here. Yeah, we were also playing Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was fucking awesome. I love playing the old Donkey Kong. Let me tell you guys, though, I finally fucking beat the train cart level. Remember how I was complaining about that last Friday? I finally fucking beat it, guys. I finally beat the train cart level. The wife looked over at me and she thought I failed it again because I had no reaction, but little does she realize I played that for like 2 fucking hours trying to beat that goddamn level. And then I forgot to save.
That was my entire childhood right there. My mom unplugged for a second.
So since those puts came in, guys, we haven't really had much else for GME order flow. The warrants are back up to 250, so we're having a little pap pap. We're having a little pap pap. There's a little pap pap.
Someone just told you the secret.
Someone told me the secret?
Yeah. Just jump down off the ledge in the beginning and hit the wart barrel to the end. You just did all
You're fucking with me.
for nothing.
You're fucking with me.
We're trying that today.
So you mean just turn left? You mean turn left, go backwards, and jump off the thing? You're kidding. You're fucking with me. I may never play Donkey Kong again after learning this. Eat shit. Eat shit back there.
He says, no, don't turn left, though. Just walk off the edge. We're going to try it. We'll get back to you tomorrow on that one.
Don't turn left, just go. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Jackie, they have to report earnings by September 10th legally. Next Tuesday after hours makes the most sense, and the pattern of early release or release date announcements. The latest is September 8th because of Tuesday. What's also interesting about what you just said, I don't know if there's any tin to this, so just take it at face value, okay? You guys remember when Ryan tweeted at the CEO of Nintendo like forever ago? Do you guys remember that? Because I've always thought back to that. And when Ryan was doing that, that was during the time that the Switch 2 was like very heavily in production. And I know GameStop got a pretty sweet deal with regards to Nintendo and how Nintendo kind of keeps GameStop happy and stocked up. Jesus Christ, look at Soju in the Discord. Look at this fucking guy. Look at this. This guy just ran with the day trade. This guy just ran with the day trading, man. Congratulations, Soju. I'm proud of you. Don't forget to send me $2 later, all right? So what I find kind of interesting with regards to, I'll say, this potential earnings release and the Nintendo thing is that this Ocarina of Time thing has been widely anticipated for quite some time. And as it pertains right now, there is the chance that we could get that Nintendo Direct release for Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time during the same time around GameStop's earnings. Perhaps we could find some sort of sweet deal that GameStop gets some sort of exclusive deal with selling these Zelda Switch 2 combos. And perhaps this could set up GameStop's legacy business for the year end, basically having a console cycle with the Switch 2. So lots of exciting things kind of happening over the next couple of days and weeks, folks. Alrighty. And then Cygnus, was that you that just signed up for Discord, buddy? Was that you that just sent me a Discord thing? Or was that someone else? I think that might have been someone else. Yeah, and they didn't yet. There's this another one. Wait till you get to the Blizzard Snow Barrel level on DK. Fuck me. You know exactly what I'm going to do after I sign off. I'm going to go ride my bike and then I'm playing some Donkey Kong. Yeah. No, I do. I actually have to try that now to know if I could have just barreled it all the way to the fucking end. That'd be so goddamn, man. Fuck. Was there premium today? There was negative premium for puts, which is amazing. That has been a fucking amazing thing that we've seen. But the puts, or excuse me, the calls have just been selling nonstop all fucking day. So the premium hasn't been great. Although we did make a mental note of those $19 and $20 puts that were sold for December. So somebody sold over $1 million total between 19 and 20 strike prices for December on the puts. Devin Toops, Gabagoo, with the $20 Bomberino says pure tinfoil. Maybe you got over it already. I took October calls as soon as I saw that GME tweet. Consider this your green light with earnings with warrants. Yeah, it was. That was quite the interesting tweet from GameStop. I'm not a huge, and I know you said tinfoil, so I know you've already prefaced that. I'm not particularly a massive fan of GameStop, like hidden tweets meaning something for the stock. I've always kind of turned more attention towards Ryan and his YOLO posts or his shit posts or whatever it happens to be. But it really is interesting, isn't it? It certainly is interesting, isn't it? And guys, the SPY failure swing is officially nuking. The SPY failure swing is officially nuking, and that 1 minute hidden bearish divergence that I told you guys about, it worked beautifully. And now look at that, new low of the day on SPY. The 30 minute is breaking the failure swing confirmation line at the center. And now you're at the bottom side of that support where Jackie put an arrow there earlier for you guys this morning at 768.60, and now it's gotten there. So be very cautious, folks. It's not looking very good. It's really not looking very good. Yeah, you're welcome. Northern Gorilla, 120. Yeah, 120 Canadian, please. And then Ivan, I'll get to you as well. Again, guys, I haven't gone on X yet, so I promise once I sign off here, I'll get to you. Gobbin Nobbler, nowhere here says GME 15-minute wedge. We do have that on there, sir. We do have it on there. GME left a 30-minute indicator signal. We've almost filled it. It's right here at 17.99. So we got to fill that indicator signal, and then we have no more left on the downside. Got to fill that indicator signal, then we got no more left on the downside. So once that's been filled, that'll be great. I don't think there was any more on the downside. No, we filled every single other one on the downside. So if we fill that one, folks, we have no more indicator signals left on the downside, which is stupidly fucking bullish. Stupidly bullish. And then this is probably harmonic. Yeah, there's a bullish bat waiting for us. Right there. So there you go. That's our next hopeful right there. Potential bullish bat with a 15-minute RSI wedge. So there you go. I just post that in the GME room quick. Come back to the main stock chat. What do we got going on here? Sky Daddy got the lessons thing going on later today at the close. Man, the Discord, you guys are just firing the education and the help in there. Holy fuck, that's amazing. What does puts being sold translates to? Puts being sold means that they're selling someone else puts, meaning they want someone else to buy them while they expect price to either go up or do nothing. That should give you a little bit of a hand on that one. And then Nigel, could you take a look at Rocket Lab? Yeah, we can. So Rocket Lab, Death Cross, coming all the way back to back test. You could make the argument this is the number one bullish reversal pattern in the market. You got a rounding top forming right near the macro 236 at $61 to $62. If it holds 61 to 62, watch out. Because that looks like a very, very, very clean setup. So obviously the Death Cross is a little concerning on Rocket Lab, right? Obviously that's a little bit concerning, but I would first and foremost look for it to find support at 60, 61, 62. And then if it starts to build some support, you could maybe look for bullish divergence on the daily. Maybe look for like 4-hour divergence to form as it consolidates on these lows. But yeah, Rocket Lab has a big death cross. It's in a huge uptrend, so you can't be bearish, but the death cross doesn't exactly bode well for this thing, especially after, ever since breaking out back in July of 2024, it's never had a death cross. So this first one gives you a little bit of reason or pause for concern, right? So that's what I would say here on Rocket Lab, my boy. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. 60 to 62, huge spot. And then you don't have to super chat me next week. Just ask me about it, and then we can take a peek at it. No, you're right. They're not both sloping down yet, but I'm willing to bet that if you pull the last 200 bars on this, I'm willing to bet that some of this bullish price action is starting to come off. Yeah, so over the next... I'll say that you probably have 1 month. You have 1 month for the stock to build support here and turn back up to get this into a golden cross so that your 200 doesn't slope down. So I'm going to say that you tentatively have 1 month for the stock to try and build some support at those levels, and then look for it to try and make a little bit of a turn. All right, so why did I do that? So this is the most ideal scenario that you would want to see. All righty. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a hand there, sir. SPY is still nuking. SPY is still nuking. Absolutely fucking nuking. Oh my gosh. No bueno, folks. No bueno. If you lose 768.60, GG. 766 hits fast. If you lose that, it's fucking GG. And then peaks and valleys with the 20. Oh, wait. No, Nigel wasn't a $20 bomb. It was a 24-pound bomb, Reno. Good grief. Thanks, Nigel. I appreciate that. Sorry, I didn't read that correctly. My apologies. And then we have peaks and valleys with that $20 bomb, Reno. He says Sky is killing it in his channel. Killed Amazon today. My proposed chart is Genie in his channel. What say you, sir? Genie. Well, it looks like it could be a bump and run, and it looks like you have potentially broken the downtrending line of the bump and run. You've broken every moving average on the weekly. You've broken every moving average on the daily, and the daily is about to have a golden cross, as I imagine a lot of these candles on the 200-day are going to start getting pulled off. Yeah. So there is a lot to be pretty excited and positive about, as well as an indicator signal all the way up there at 918. So I definitely like the idea of this having a breakout, especially the fact that this is broken above the trend line of what could be a bump and run. That's very bullish. So this thing looks like it wants to go, 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 go. You're going to have hard resistance at this golden pocket, but if you break 880, I mean, that thing is just going to go sicko mode. So I definitely like that. I definitely like that. I think that thing looks fantastic. If we check the RSI, I'll bet it's in the bull zone. Okay, it's above center. Not in the bull zone, but it is above center, which is good. I'd like to see it get in the bull zone. That'd be the next big one. And the weekly is so fucking close to the center line. I would, if it gets in there, I mean, this thing's going to the indicator signal at 918. So I like it. I like your thought process there. It looks good. You're welcome. War Speech suggested a hike possible in September. No, he won't. No, they won't. I know he suggested it, but they won't. They're pussies. Yeah, they're trolling. They're pussies. Is it just me, or does it seem like every time GME has a good day, SPY decides to absolutely nuke the next day for some reason? Well, it's an interesting theory. I'll just say that when GME had its run in April and May, SPY had a huge retracement of like 10% in the month before April. And then once we got into April, the market bottomed, GME bottomed, and then the rest is kind of history. So I would just say that, like, you know, the market having a little bit of a retracement prior to GameStop having a mega wave wouldn't be the wildest thing to see. That's for sure. SPY did not hold. For right now, it's certainly not. Yeah, for right now, it's certainly not. Well, folks, with that, we have been on for 4 hours. 4 hours on a Friday. We've had a couple of trades move. We've had some great super chats. We've had some great engagement. We've had lots of people here, and it has been an absolute blast. But my butt hurts from sitting too much all week. My mental and emotional state is ruined. And I'm going to go ride my bike and play Mario Kart and make out with my wife's face and then do nothing for the rest of the weekend because I can. Thank you guys very much for tuning into today's show. All of the shows this week, really appreciate your guys continue to support and continue to show up here every day. Really appreciate it as per usual, folks. And looking forward to more. So now that we are entering into September next week, we're back to doing Sunday videos. So we will be back for Sunday's video. All right, we will have a Sunday recap video for you guys to go through a whole bunch of different things. All right, so thank you, everybody, and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.